in an all-American city with an all-American event from the Milwaukee Mile. NASCAR's Busch drivers came here to a red carpet reception. Joe Nemechek was honored as parade marshal in West Allis. So celebrate America's birthday with us. If you think you've seen fireworks already, well, the fireworks are just about to begin. TNN Motorsports presents live coverage of the NASCAR Busch Series, the Havoline Formula 3 250. Wisconsin is full of race fans, and they have descended upon State Fair Park in West Allis, just outside Milwaukee, perhaps the largest crowd ever to witness any kind of auto race at this facility. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mike Joy alongside Neil Bonnet. And Neil, the reception these Busch drivers have gotten here has been nothing short of tremendous.
Mike, anytime you mention NASCAR, you talk about big crowds, and we've got it here. Not only NASCAR Winston Cup division, but I think it speaks for this Busch Series, how strong it's getting all over the country. Tremendous group of people coming in here. This part of the country's got some great race fans, and they're looking for a good race today.
This place is packed. Now, on the front row is a driver who has a lot of experience on this racetrack, but he's new to the front row of Busch Series racing. Let's meet him with Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, Bobby Daughter is certainly no stranger to West Allis, Wisconsin. That's where we really are. But a great run for the pole, a new track record. Bobby, that had to feel great in front of all these hometown fans.
It sure did. I really had high expectations coming here. I've run good here. I got so many people that are my friends and have helped us out this week pick up all this local sponsorship. And I'm just really hoping we can keep this thing up front all day and reward them and myself with a good finish.
Been a little concern about excess tire wear here. How's your car set up? Can you handle that?
Well, we ran a long run yesterday late in practice, and tire wear did show pretty substantial, but it was even all the way around the car, and the car stayed pretty consistent. So I don't know that we're the fastest car for the long run, but yet we are a good car.
Definitely a good car. Bunch of good cars further back in the pack. Let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Well, there was a little race yesterday in Daytona called the Pepsi 400, and at the conclusion, 4 Winston Cup drivers, Davey Allison, Darrell Waltrip, Harry Gant, and Rusty Wallace, all came up here to qualify their Busch cars. And Rusty did a pretty good job. You put her in 21st place, but you didn't get a lot of chance to practice. Does that put you at a deficit today?
Well, I don't know. We came up here a couple weeks ago and tested this new car out. It's been the first Grand National race I've won or ran in 4 years. And it really feels good. I'm really happy about it. We were fastest qualifier last night, which would have put me 5th overall in the field. So I got a good car here today. And I like to win this race for Miller Brewing Company and all the Milwaukee fans, because it's been a long time. It's kind of like a homecoming, really.
What about your run yesterday, Rusty?
It was terrible. It's probably one of the worst runs I've ever had. Definitely the worst handling car I've ever had. And we're just going to have to go back and take the body back off of it and redo it.
Thanks. Good luck today. And a couple of the other guys didn't have too good a runs yesterday either. Darrell Waltrip was the best with a 13th place finish, but I expect a lot more out of these guys today. Mike?
Well, we'll see if they can improve on that, Randy. We're set to go here. 37 cars will start this 250-mile race in a matter of minutes here in the land of beer and Wisconsin cheddar cheese. It's great to be in Milwaukee, and we're looking forward to a great event. Stay with us here on TNN for exclusive live coverage here from the Milwaukee Mile coming your way. Packed house here, ready to celebrate the 4th of July in fine fashion here on the Milwaukee Mile. Let's bring you up to date on NASCAR Busch Grand National Racing and show you where they were last in upstate New York. Last week, the Busch Series was at Watkins Glen, New York for the Phase 150. Defending champion and pole sitter Ernie Irvan wasted no time in establishing his Kodak Chevy in the front spot. Lap number 8 saw Bill Elliott power around the outside of Irvan in turn number 1 to put his Budweiser Ford out front. To avoid someone else's blown engine, Chuck Bound got into the back of Dave Rezendi, sending Dave spinning through the wet grass. A bad vibration took any chance of a repeat by Irvan out of play and sent him to the garage at lap 12. Then on lap 17, points leader David Green lost an engine and the points lead, dropping from the race. Robert Presley had a good race going, but a bit of tough luck as he went to the garage with this smoking problem and came back out to finish 26th. Defending series champ Joe Nemechek here battling Steve Grissom and Todd Bodine would have a good run, finishing in 4th place. On a restart, Terry Labonte would take over the lead at lap 37. But Bill Elliott would come storming back, this time to the inside of the inner loop on Labonte at lap 44. Ward Burton would rise to the top of the Busch Grand National regulars, finishing 3rd overall. As Bill Elliott takes the checkered flag over Terry Labonte to win his and the Hardy Boys' first ever Busch Series victory. Steve Grissom now has the point lead over David Green, Chuck Bown, Robert Presley, and Ward Burton. And we should correct that Bill Elliott does own his own Busch Grand National car. It's not a Harry Melling car, as we said last week. He's owned that team since the 1st of January. Jim Ruggles and James Lyle do the engines, and Charles Hardy's boys crew that car. For Elliott, a well-deserved victory on the road course. Look at this crowd that is packed into the Milwaukee Mile here for the first Busch race in 8 years. Sears Die-Hard battery, now with more power when you need it most, presents the starting grid. Bobby Dotter earns his first Busch pole, and Jeff Burton, who's had some strong qualifying runs all season, is right alongside. In row number 2, 1990 champ Chuck Bown and the point standing runner-up David Green. In row 3, Robert Presley with 2 wins this season, and Jack Sprague, who ran well at Watkins Glen last week. Row number 4, good run for the rookies. Roy Payne starts 7th and Hermie Sadler 8th. In the 5th row is Todd Bodine and Tom Peck. Back in row number 6, Sammy Swindell, who's had ASA and Indy Lights experience here, and defending series champ Joe Nemechek. In row number 7, former series champ Larry Pearson once finished 5th here. He's lined up with Steve Grissom. In the 8th row, there will be Ward Burton, a 2-time winner, and Ricky Craven. Row number 9, Robbie Reeser makes his first Busch start next to rookie Tim Fedua from Michigan. Tommy Houston, the most veteran of this series, lines up next to Tracy Leslie. In row number 11, here are the Winston Cuppers. Rusty Wallace, fastest second-round qualifier next to Harry Gant. And in row number 12, Davey Allison's Ford and Darrell Waltrip's Chevy. Back in the 13th row, Rodney Combs from West Virginia and Joe Bessie from Maine. In row 14, Jason Keller, a rookie from South Carolina, and Mike Wallace. In the 15th row, Nathan Butke, the 18-year-old rookie from North Carolina, and Coach Glanville is riding his Harley today. More about that later. In row 16, that'll be Shauna Robinson in the Polaroid car and ARCA veteran Bob Breback. In the 17th row, Richard Lassiter from Arkansas next to Clay Brown. And in row 18, Mike Garvey in a Joe Bessie backup car, and Bob Dotter Sr. makes his first ever Busch Series start in a car owned by his son. Final start will be Troy Beebe. He's driving a second car from the Barry Owen team that puts the cars under Mike Wallace. Shauna Robinson, the Polaroid Captiva instant camera car, will be carrying our onboard camera today. And you'll have this view from the dome light camera, as Director Gary Clem likes to call it, over her shoulder. And there it is. Now also we've got a camera on the rear bumper of Shauna's car. Watch this. For the first time ever, that camera can pan left and right as long as it stays on top of that rear bumper.
Mike, I saw where they have it located. It's going to be questionable if we have that bumper all day. That bumper can.
A look back at Bob Breback there, outside on the right from Shauna's car. Thumbs up from the corner workers here at the Milwaukee Mile. This is a very flat 1-mile oval. The straightaways are exactly a 1/4 mile long. 9-degree bank in the turns, a lot like Phoenix or New Hampshire. Just a 3-degree banking for drainage along both straightaways. A big flat track.
Yeah, Mike, it's, you know, anytime you come to a new track, there's several challenges. The drivers have a challenge, learn the track, the crews to set the cars up, and then the tire manufacturers to get the right tire combination. We heard them talking earlier, so it's going to be, we're going to see how it unfolds, that who's got the right combination to run good here today.
The purse for this race, the posted awards, are second only to Charlotte Motor Speedway on the Busch Grand National Circuit. Second biggest purse this season. One lap will go racing. 37 cars will start, and it's the first time the Busch cars have run at this distance. on the Milwaukee Mile.
Mike, I think one thing that's really unique is the hospitality that we've had all week long. When I say we, the Busch Series coming in here, you know, everywhere you go, they say, welcome to the Milwaukee Mile. The people are really glad to see this type of racing come in here, and I think it's nothing but a plus for everybody involved.
It's been great, Neil. It's also been a good weekend for weather so far. There's a look at the weather radar, and you see that green line of showers. Milwaukee on the western shore of Lake Michigan, right in the middle of the picture. 88 degrees, high humidity, a little muggy today. Winds out of the southwest that'll bring those showers toward us, and there is a chance of thunder showers before the day is over. It's a largely residential area. You see the houses off turn number 3. We're about 4 or so miles west of the city of Milwaukee and the shore of Lake Michigan.
Yeah, the people on the back straightaway can sit on their porch and watch the race.
Kind of like sitting outside the bleachers at Wrigley Field in those houses back there. Pace car is in. Ford Thunderbird down to the front row, or down to the inside of pit road, and from the front row, Bobby Dotter and Jeff Burton bring them to the green flag, and we're racing at Milwaukee. Larry Pearson and Ward Burton make it 3 wide down into turn number 1. And the field sorts out and stacks up just a bit. Pearson got into line back about the 6th row.
It's a big, wide racetrack. You can see how much room they have to deal with, but like most flat tracks, that inside will be the preferred line. They'll get real wide, but they'll thin it out when they reach the corners.
Larry Pearson and Ward Burton are going to be black flagged for jumping the start.
Yeah, the bunch of guys really dove to the inside. You cannot pass on the inside before you get to the start-finish line.
It'll be a tough break for both of them as Pearson has pulled up into about the 10th spot, and Burton right with him, but now they're drifting back in the pack. Joe Nemechek did not get a great start. He's back battling with Steve Grissom. We're right up front as Robert Presley goes for it on Bobby Dotter for 2nd spot.
Mike, this is a type of racetrack where a driver has a lot of influence on the performance of the race car. A lot of banking track where we rely on the race car to run fast. Right here, the driver can get up on the edge of that seat, drive a little bit deeper in the corner, and really work his car. Here's Burton coming down pit road for that penalty.
And with the speed limit in effect on pit road, that will definitely hurt him. Burton and Larry Pearson. Burton came in this time. Pearson, trying to shuffle himself out of traffic, will likely be in next time around. They have 3 laps to obey that black flag signal.
Mike, they can do it here, get in and accept that penalty, get out without losing a lap. There's a lot of tracks you can't. Here's Pearson. I see Pearson dropping to the inside on this lap.
Larry Pearson will come down pit lane and also accept the stop-and-go penalty for jumping the start. It's Jeff Burton out in front by about 3 car lengths. And here's Steve Grissom on pit road. Looks like one of the left side tires is down.
Looks like the left front went down on him, Mike. There's
Todd Bodine going back past Jack Sprague. That's for 5th spot. And the 91 car, Mike Garvey, who started the 2nd Joe Bessie car, has taken it to the garage.
Mike, look at this problem they have. When you have a left front flat, you cannot get the jack out of the car. You just now see the guy start jacking the car. It fell down so low, had all the crew members trying to pick the car up. It's going to cost him a lot of time. Look at the left front. They hadn't got it up yet.
I believe Grissom will go down a lap as a result of that green flag pit stop.
Yeah, but one of his strong suits is being able to come from the rear. It's a long race. He still can get out and come back and have a good finish.
Last time we raced on 4th of July, it was at Volusia County, Florida, and Grissom ended up in victory lane. Jeff Burton leads Robert Presley. Here's Chuck Bound in 3rd, Bobby Dotter in 4th, being passed by Todd Bodine. Look at him fan out 3 wide. We are under yellow here in Milwaukee.
I don't see anything. It possibly be that flat that Grissom had. He might have put some debris down on the track. At this time, I don't see anything out there.
Caution is out at lap number 5. Jeff Burton, the race leader. Robert Presley running in 2nd. Chuck Bound in 3rd. Bobby Dotter 4th. Todd Bodine is 5th. 6th is Jack Sprague. 7th is David Green. 8th is Roy Payne. And 9th is Hermie Sadler ahead of Tom Peck. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Milwaukee and the Havoline Formula 3 250. Looking out the back of Shauna Robinson's car. Happy birthday, America. As we celebrate our nation's heritage and the freedoms we enjoy, which include getting to go racing on Sunday. And 1 lap will do just that. The caution flag was for debris from Steve Grissom's tire out on the racetrack. So we'll go back to green this time. Ward Burton made a pit stop. As you look at the top 10 here, Ward and Richard Lassiter made pit stops under the caution. Everybody's still on the lead lap except Steve Grissom, 1 lap down due to that green flag stop, and Mike Garvey has gone to the garage. A little damage on Joe Nemechek's car. Here's Glenn.
Well, Mike, I checked with Vic Kangas, the crew chief. He said that happened on the start of the race. Everybody got all bunched up and banged up, but he says it's cosmetic. Temperatures on the car are fine, so he's okay. No problem.
Looks like he just got a little frontal damage to the grill. Got tapped in the rear also. So
yeah, that right rear fender's rolled in pretty good. I can't see it from this shot. Will next time around. Jeff Burton will lead them around to green. Robert Presley, Chuck Bound, and Bobby Dotter, who's had a lot of success on this racetrack. 1 top 5 and 5 top 10s in 12 ASA starts here between 1982 and 88 for Dotter. He's raced over 2,000 miles on this speedway. Knows it better than anybody here. And there's Dotter's yellow 08 car getting overhauled by Todd Bodine on the inside. 4th place.
Todd Bodine's really been on the move since this race started. Here's Presley right up behind Burton. Now Presley's putting a little heat on him.
You saw our show from Watkins Glen. Todd has new contacts in this week. And here comes Presley.
For the folks that wasn't watching that show, Todd Bodine lost his contact lens during the race and had to fall back simply because he couldn't see. Like you say, Mike, he's got a new type now. Hopefully he'll have that problem again.
I think he told Glenn Jarrett without his contacts he's blind as a fish. Now, I'm not sure what that means, but
that's the only kind of fish I can catch.
Yeah, the blind ones, right. And here's Davey Allison right now leading the 4 Winston Cup drivers that came in here because they arrived so late after racing at Daytona. They were allowed to practice but could only get here in time to qualify 2nd round. That's why Wallace started 21st, Davey 23rd, Harry Gant and Darrell Waltrip right alongside them. But Davey's car is moving up well. Of course, Red Farmer's been here to shake it down and get it squared away. Jim Sauter drove Wallace's car in practice to get it sorted out.
Yeah, Rusty Wallace built a brand spanking new race car to run this one race. We see him right there behind Nemechek. He's got a different number on a 21 on the black car of Rusty Wallace. There's Davey Allison down on the inside. Hermie Sadler. Mike, in the pits this morning, these guys didn't get to practice a lot like they were talking about, and they were putting some tremendously low gears in their cars, saying they had to come from the rear of the pack. So we'll just have to see how that unfolds.
3rd place here, Neil. That's Todd Bodine marching to the front, coming up on the inside of Chuck Bound. And completing the pass.
And he's doing just like you say, he is marching up there, Mike. He is not taking any prisoners. He's coming in a hurry. As he comes to him, he passes and moves on to the next guy.
Todd started 9th. He's now running 3rd.
Got people hanging over the back straightaway. Can't overemphasize what a big crowd they have here for this particular race. Tremendous turnout for the first one.
And here's Davey Allison, 9th place. He just took away from Tommy Houston. Davey started 23rd. And there's Rusty Wallace, also in your shot, running behind the green and black car of Tom Peck. Davey working on rookie Roy Payne in the Hyde Tools car. Look, he's right under the yellow line. Usually the yellow line marks the difference between the track and the apron. He's running underneath that yellow line completely.
He'll be okay as long as nobody comes out of the pits.
Yeah.
They're in his groove down there, looks like. Anytime you come to a flat track like this, if you get the car to where to work down real low, it's the quickest way around something like this. And he's got, look there, he's completely underlined. He's actually on the exit part of the track. And that's not something somebody say, well, why is he penalized? You can use any of that racing surface you want to use.
And he completes the pass on Payne. Now Tommy Houston will try the bottom shot coming off turn 2. Trying to take 9th place away from the rookie out of Alvin, Texas. Hermie Sadler also moving up. There's Sadler, Tom Peck, and there's Rusty Wallace on the right side of your screen. That Miller car, number 21. Davey had a look at Jack Sprague going into one, but There, as you said, Neil, the difference right in the middle of the corner. Davey was able to get up right up and under Jack Sprague in the middle of the corner, but Sprague running a higher line got a better jump off the turn.
Yeah, you're asking that 6-cylinder motor to really be able to respond. When you pull it that low down in the bottom, you have to really use a lot of brake, and then the motor's got to accelerate a lot up off that corner. That's why they went to those low gears.
Davey Allison in his familiar number 28 Mac tools on the side of that car today. We asked Davey Allison to compare the Milwaukee Mile to yesterday at Daytona.
No, it really feels better up here right now. We fought some troubles out there in the Winston Cup car at Daytona and had our hands full pretty much all day. So at least here we're back with a chance at equal terms.
Welcome back to Milwaukee. They'll complete 20 of 250 miles next time around. Jeff Burton in the Phil Martossi Baby Ruth Ford led every lap, and Todd Bodine in the Fiddle Faddle car has just taken second place away from Robert Presley. Two Chevrolets battling there. There's a look at the separation. The white car left of your screen is Burton's. And following a lapped automobile, they're second and third. And right behind them, Bobby Dotter in fourth place. That yellow car about to be overhauled perhaps by David Green. And Green makes the pass down into turn number 1. That changes fourth place. That lap car, by the way, was Jerry Glanville. Harley Davidson motorcycles, located here in Milwaukee, where they've been built for the last 90 years, is sponsoring Glanville's Busch Grand National car today, which just happens to be arrayed in black and orange.
Well, I'll tell you what, Glanville's the right guy to do it. He rides that Harley a pretty good bit.
There he is.
Good sponsorship for him.
And in fact, he had a good qualifying run. Glanville got into the field in 30th position among the 40 spots available for this race. And he's just gone a lap down. There's David Green on the move. You see he's distanced himself from Bobby Dotter. There's Glanville on the inside. Right there, number 81. Right behind Tommy Houston.
Mike, he's got all kind of sponsors on that thing. He's got the motorcycles. He's got a college sponsoring him on one of the deals. I'm not sure what that's about.
Northern Michigan University.
I told you, I think he's got a master's degree in spinning out. He told me that. Me and Coach was tight.
Davey Allison going to work on Bobby Dotter. Dotter usually sponsored by DeWalt Tools. They did not pick him up for this race, so he came back to a town where he lived and raced for 2 years here in West Allis. Picked up a bunch of local sponsorship. Pit Stop Beverage, Welks Automotive, Great Lakes Adjusters, Arizona Iced Tea, and a couple more for Bobby Dotter here this weekend. Has 2 top 10 finishes in the Busch Series this year. Davey Allison moving along and moving toward the front. Let's get out of his pits. Here's Randy.
Well, Red Farmer standing by Davey's crew chief. Red, you practiced that car this week without Davey here, but you must have fed him something good for breakfast because he's flying.
Well, we worked all day yesterday while Davey's in Daytona, tested the car for some different spring setups. We came back yesterday. Davey practiced the car and he qualified it. We still wasn't quite happy because it had a little bit of a push in it. We made a couple of changes for him, but we ended up going just exactly like I practiced yesterday afternoon about 2 o'clock, and it seemed to be the ticket for today.
Is he saying anything at all in the car? Is he saying anything?
Yeah, well, he said that right now he's taking it easy. He's not running hard, but he's already come from 23rd to 5th, so I hate to see him if he starts running fast.
So do we. That'd really stink up the show, Neil.
I'll tell you what, they made a lot of changes, and I think one of the keys is they were walking around this morning. Davey kept saying, I got to borrow your gear. I got to borrow your gear. And Wagner was standing there. The guy that builds his motor said, don't put that gear in the car. and I was joking. I said, Wagner, if you tightened all the bolts, he can put the gear in the car.
Oh.
So, I mean, they've got he's loaded for bear. He's going to see. And he said, taking it easy, he's probably pedaling the RPM a little bit.
Yep. Third place battle here, Neil. Robert Presley, who started out real well, came from 8th up to 2nd.
It's actually going to be a 3rd, 4th, and 5th place battle right here. We got the 3 guys in those positions right here in position. Allison's moving in on them real quick.
David Green, who had a devastating day last week at Watkins Glen, lost the motor at 17 laps. That's Bob Dotter Sr. going to pit road. Great ARCA veteran making his first Busch Series start, driving his son's backup car. And David Green takes a spot from Presley. He opens the door. Davey Allison follows him right through.
Yeah, once you get moved out of that racing groove to the outside, you're going to give up not only one position, but whoever's in line there with them.
Yep, Tommy Houston gets underneath Presley.
Mike, excuse me, Mike, there's one thing that's a question mark here. We talked at the top of the show about tire wear. We're just now right at 30 laps into this race, but some of the guys were questioning should they come in at 40 or 45 laps just to take a look. They're concerned about wearing the tires out, so we're going to have to see how hard a pace these guys are running and how far they can go. Fuel's not going to be the question. It's going to be tire wear today.
I think you're right, Neil. I think we're seeing it already with Robert Presley. On fresh tires at the start of the race, his car worked right on the bottom and he shot right to the front. And now he's having trouble keeping that car down and he's losing positions as a result. So we'll get a report from his pit in just a bit here. 27 laps have been completed here at the Milwaukee Mile. Jeff Burton leading Todd Bodine, David Green, Davey Allison, and Tommy Houston. Welcome back to the Milwaukee Mile. Here's how they're running at the top 5. Same as we left, but with Davey Allison closing up on David Green. They're about 12 car lengths apart. Here's your leader, Jeff Burton, the Baby Ruth Ford. But still a lot of this pack you can see packed pretty tightly together. Now Steve Grissom in that Channel Lock car, the blue car middle of your picture, has gone a lap down. He's expected to be a contender, but had shredded a tire, had to make a green flag pit stop, and is 1 lap off the pace. Ward Burton and Larry Pearson were black flagged for jumping the start of this race, had to make stop and goes under green, but when the caution came out at lap 5 for Grissom, they were able to stay on the lead lap. Watching from Jack Sprague on back. Be at about 13th position.
Yeah, there's Nemechek and there's Grissom, who's a lap down. He's the points leader. He's not going to just give up. He's got to work hard as he can today to get back every position possible. He's trying his best to get on back and get up there in that lead lap again.
Well, he's up against good cars. Now Jack Sprague, with the addition of Steve Bird as crew chief, qualified well here and has run well. He's 13th. Nemechek right now is the 14th place car. And 15th on the board, Tim Fedor.
There's Grissom. He's found that bottom lane that we saw Davey Allison using earlier. Cut the car right down under him, totally off the surface, right on that little apron there, and was able to make the pass.
And back to second place.
There's Davey Allison trying to get under green down the front straightaway, going down in turn 1.
Make that for third place as they chase Todd Bodine. And your race leader, Jeff Burton.
Allison has that inside line now going in the corner. He should be able to take the position. There he goes.
Doesn't mean a lot coming off the corner. It makes such a big difference as you go back down in.
Well, I think the key to it, Mike, is when you're talking about that little bit of degree of banking in that corner. If you have to get on the outside, it really slides out. You'll see Allison getting up under a lap car trying to run. There's Bodine directly in front of him for second position. That flat surface, when you move out wide, the Indy cars on this circuit run that wide line, but they've got that big wide tire and they really use a lot of stagger to work these corners. With these stock cars, you've got to get on the inside and really work up off of that corner. There we go. See him making the pass going in.
Second place. See Davey's car. See the left front really bouncing a bit, almost like it's getting a bit of air there. And there's David Green getting right underneath as Bodine lost the low line. Green jumped right down there.
Well, we saw Bodine come marching through the field wall ago and make a lot of positions. The question is, how much tire did he use up? But in the same thought, Davey Allison's coming from either further back and still going to the front, so he might not be having a tire wear problem.
Look who's right with that group. Talk about a guy who's a flat track specialist. Here comes Tommy Houston.
The slipperier and slicker they get. Here he comes.
Yep.
Up at that was Hickory when it was so bad that time. He ended up winning the race.
That was April of '92. 24 career wins for Tommy Houston.
And 1 zillion starts.
Right.
He's been here forever. What a racer.
Since Busch first sponsored this series for 1982, he has started every single race. 344th start today.
Car on the inside, motioning, pulling over, motioning to go to the outside. That's Swindell's car.
Yeah, Sammy Swindell's had some good runs here in ASA. He's in the Bull and Hannah's Meat Snacks Ford today. The Harold and Ed of TMC Trucking owns that team, and they qualified pretty well.
Yeah, Mike, he told us, you and I walked through the pits yesterday, he said, the only thing wrong with my car, he says it won't do wheel stands. He's used to that sprint car when he stands in the gas, lifting the front wheels up. And the Busch car doesn't have that kind of power, and he misses it, he says.
Well, just going a lap down here. Let's go down to Tommy Houston's pit.
Well, they haven't had a whole lot to smile about thus far this year, but boy, the old man's putting on a show today. Come from 19th, Dallas is in the top 5 right now. What'd you tell him?
I ain't told him anything. He's just out there driving. When we left here back in 80, whatever, this was one of his favorite tracks, and they took it off the schedule. And we've been this good at other racetracks, it's just we've been snake bit.
What about tire wear? How low do you think you can go on tires?
I expect we'll probably put tires on here in the first caution.
Well, that first caution may not come quick enough, Mike. Everybody else is telling us about 45 laps is about all they can go.
And they'll complete 40 next time around, Glenn. The last time the Busch Series was here in 1985, Houston finished 5th.
Well, that's what he said back in 80-something.
80-something. It's kind of like 30-something.
Here comes the car down pit road. Shauna Robinson coming in the pits.
Here comes car 20-something.
Yep. Here comes 44 right around Davey Allison. Shauna coming in the pits.
Uh-oh.
Working on the motor.
Davey Allison tracking David Green. This battle for second spot.
Well, you know, we keep hearing them over and over. They're looking at lap 45 on having to come in and check those tires, and we're at lap 41 now. So if these leaders do what they say they're going to do, they're going to be coming in for long.
Well, let's take a break from Milwaukee, and then we'll come back with pit stops. Jeff Burton has led every lap of this race. David Green in second, Davey Allison third, Tommy Houston fourth, and Todd Bodine is fifth. TNN Motorsports exclusive. We're under caution here at the Milwaukee Mile. Jerry Glanville has spun his Harley off in turn 2 up toward the wall. Jim Melvin, general manager of the Milwaukee Mile, takes us for a look back at the history of this historic mile facility.
Well, the Milwaukee Mile probably has one of the greatest and richest traditions of motor racing in the United States. It was opened in 1892 as part of the fair, and mere 10 years later opened up to automobile racing. And in the 92 years of racing here, we've hosted more IndyCar races than the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So a lot of greats have been here, a lot of configurations of racing have been here. Stock cars in the 50s with Foyt and Parnelli Jones, the Indy cars, dirt car racers, and even at one time were host to Packer football. So this facility's got a lot of rich tradition, and including, they say, an elephant that's buried somewhere in the infield.
And it's getting its third taste of Busch Series racing here today. Many of the leaders, including Davey Allison, Tommy Houston, David Green, and Todd Bodine, Bobby Dotter et al., take this occasion to pit. And the timing of the caution, Neil, was very beneficial to most of these teams.
Yeah, Mike, they were talking about having to take a look at those tires, and if nobody wanted to make that green stop, the only other option is run till someone has a problem. And if they do, you don't want to get into the wall or anything. So, I mean, it's good that caution came out. Everybody take a look and see where they're at. We saw the 59 car a minute ago. They were changing springs on that car on the caution.
It's hard to do it.
Here we go.
There's Ricky Pearson.
He's backed that jack screw totally off, put a new right rear spring, and now he's putting the weight back on that spring. So, I mean, that's a major change to be going through right here on the racetrack.
And Ward Burton.
Looks like he's locked up in gear.
Ooh. There's a tough break. Well, while we're under caution, we'll take this break and be right back to Milwaukee. We're still under caution here in Milwaukee. Next Sunday, Winston Cup Racing's first visit to Bob Baer's 1 Mile Speedway in New Hampshire. The Slick 5300. You'll see it live here on TNN next Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's get down to the pits. Here's Glenn.
Well, Mike, what you're looking at here, this is Kip McCord. He's the tire man on leader Jeff Burton's Ford Thunderbird. He's checking tire wear now. When they start the race, these things have about 4.5, 5/30 seconds of tread. These little wear bars here indicate how much tread's left. There's about 2.5 to 3/30 seconds left, but Jeff radioed in and said that the car all of a sudden after about 40 laps really went away. They were looking at having to come in. That caution came at exactly the right time. These are basically the same tires that were used at Myrtle Beach, and if you remember, Jeff had absolutely the best car at Myrtle Beach, a very similar setup under that. So if the tires stay under him all day like they did at Myrtle Beach, he's going to be tough.
So Jeff Burton up front, winning the race on and off pit road. David Green right now lined up in second. Tommy Houston third. Darrell Waltrip got a good stop. He is fourth. Fifth is Hermie Sadler. Sixth is Todd Bodine. Seventh, Davey Allison. Eighth is Rusty Wallace. Ninth, Joe Nemechek. 10th is Tim Fedowa. Ricky Craven's 11th. Larry Pearson is 12th. 13th is Harry Gant. 14th is Rodney Combs. 15th, Jack Sprague. 16th is Tracy Leslie. Chuck Bown is 17th. 18th is Tom Peck. 19th is Roy Payne. 20th, Jason Keller. Then Robert Presley, Joe Bessie, Bobby Dotter, and Jerry Glanville. Everybody else is a lap or more down. Glanville's 2 laps down. Everybody else a lap or more down.
Yeah, one thing that Ward Burton just pitted that time. There's Shauna. We see her there and they're working on the car. They can't get it recranked, but Ward Burton had a lug nut or something hanging a wheel and lock up, and he lost a lap on that caution.
Had to stay in, take that right rear off, and pull out whatever was in there. Probably a lug nut hung in the brake caliper. Lapped cars start to the outside here on the restart, and Jeff Burton gets on the throttle and going with the program in a hurry. David Green in second. Steve Grissom will split him from the race leader.
Yeah, Grissom is the guy we're talking about that lost that lap early with a flat tire, and he would certainly like to get that lap back. He's leading the points in the Busch Series.
He and Grissom 1-2 in the point standings. Field sorts out a bit. Big knot back at Sammy Swindell there for that second pack.
They really have to be careful when they get caught on the outside. You see some of the faster cars are trying to work around the outside of this. Todd Bodine, we saw him a little bit of contact with Hermie Sadler going down in turn 1. Ooh, some smoke right there out of one of the cars. Looks like Rusty Wallace.
It is. On the right side of your screen, Rusty Wallace's Miller Genuine Draft car is smoking a bit. There's Davey Allison. There's Rusty.
He might possibly have got up against someone in that traffic and have a tire rub in. It's hard to tell. Could have been smoke out the engine, but he was in a lot of traffic just before that. No, it's not doing it through the corner this time.
Report that he might be dumping some oil on the racetrack. There's Hermie Sadler going by. There's Swindell in that black number 26 car just in front of Wallace. And Joe Nemechek right behind him.
Boy, that's an oil leak or something. It's not necessarily coming out of the tailpipes or anything. Looks like a leak right under the center of the engine. You can see it as you came up straightaway. Some kind of leak, probably.
That won't look good on Nemechek's windshield or Tim Fedowa's.
No, and it's not going to help Rusty a whole lot, because if it's coming out the front like that, it's going to end up getting on his rear tires.
He is getting black flagged by NASCAR. Fedowa jumps to the inside. There's Ricky Craven going by. Ward Burton.
Boy, you see the guys behind him really stacking up. Yeah.
Burton's in trouble out of turn 2. Very slow.
Yep, Ward Burton having some trouble right here. They had a problem on that last pit stop. I don't know if it's related to that or not.
No activity in his pit. Now Burton will stay on the racetrack. He had to get way out of the throttle as Rusty tried to drop to the outside there. But it looked like he lost more than just momentum there. Unless these V6s really do take that long to wind up. Back up.
Here's Rusty, and they're going to change tires. And take a look. You see the guy looking up on the front. Down to Randy, please.
Well, what they're saying here is the transmission may be overflowing. I do see it leaking under the car, guys. They've changed left side tires. They're going to go ahead and put the jack stands underneath. They've shut it off now, so it's going to be a long stay in here for Rusty.
Brand new race car for him to run a couple of Busch Series races, something he has not done over the last 3 years. And he flew up some of his crew from Daytona here to work on the car today in Milwaukee.
I tell you, he probably brought that crew because they're so good in and out of them pits, and it really pays off in this and Winston race, getting in and out of the pits in a hurry.
Darrell Waltrip moving up and under Todd Bodine. That'll be for 4th place.
Yeah, there's Todd Bodine going around on the outside. You know, Waltrip had a good pit stop, was right up front. There's Bodine. We saw him earlier go straight to the front.
And Davey Allison right behind.
Let me tell you, Waltrip is the type guy, if they're saying they might be questionable on tires, he's going to tiptoe. He's going to take care of that car, and he's the guy you'll have to worry about when everybody else's tires are worn out. Darrell really uses his head when you got a little bit of problem to work with.
Davey dropping to the inside on Waltrip. And now Mike Wallace looking for the inside.
So Davey's car slipped right there. He's been working right on the bottom of the racetrack.
Back up front, David Green has been unable to get past Steve Grissom. Remember, on the restart, Grissom dropped in right behind leader Jeff Burton, splitting the front two cars, and Green has been unable to find a way past. Grissom is fast, but had to make an unscheduled pit stop at lap 5, or lap 4 rather.
It's hard to get that lap back when you've got someone like Burton out front. His car, as good as it is, he's the only car that didn't give up earlier and fall back, and Grissom is trying to hold on so he can get that lap back, but Green's got the inside on him now.
And David Green makes the pass. There's Ward Burton back up to speed.
And he's sideways. He's really loosening the car real loose on him, right through the middle of the corner, from the middle out of the corner. Got his hands full right now.
He's about a lap and a half behind the race leader. So Ward Burton is now 1.5 laps down after that extended stay on pit road during the caution period. Let's check with Glenn Jarrett.
This is Freddie Fryer, the crew chief. Not too good today. You got more problems, Freddie.
Yeah, we had a lug nut getting caught between the rotor and the wheel when they changed tires and put us down a lap. We're still digging.
All right, what about tire wear? You're running Hoosier tires. You're always the top girl on Hoosier tires. How are they holding up for you?
They seem to be holding up pretty well. We ran 40 laps on them and still had quite a bit of rubber left, but we had to find out to see what they were doing.
Okay, tough break for Ward early, but like he says, they'll keep digging, try to chase it back.
Got 190 laps to do it. There's his brother Jeff out in front by the margin you see over David Green, who has finally gotten past Steve Grissom.
Well, you know, at Myrtle Beach, Ward got 2 laps down and ended up, and it was a threat to beat his brother right there at the end of the race from being 2 laps down. So in this type of racing, anything can happen before the day's over.
Neil, let me tell you how avid they are about racing up here. The first late model stock car type race they had on this track was in 1948. It was part of the Wisconsin Centennial Exhibition. 9 straight days of auto racing on this track.
I didn't think a 48 mile car would run that long.
The winner, Paul Bjork from Minnesota, in a 1948 Fraser Manhattan.
Mike, the reason he won it, those things were so big nobody could pass him.
I think you're right.
A Fraser in Victory Lane.
How about that? Track was dirt then. Was paved in 1954.
Everybody be running out to get him a Fraser now.
That's it. And they push Rusty Wallace's car behind the wall. He's gone out of the race. Joining Troy Beebe, Bobby Dotter, and Mike Garvey, the 3 drivers who started backup cars, and Shauna Robinson.
We just saw right up in the middle of the corner, Jack Sprague get around Sammy Swindell, along with Rodney Combs and Dotter.
And a shredded right rear tire on Ward Burton's car. There he is coming down the front straightaway. And will he make it all the way around? We are under caution for Burton at lap 63. And he'll have to come all the way around to get back into the pits. And has lost another lap here. We'll be back to the Milwaukee Mile right after these messages. We're back live at Milwaukee on TNN. All the lead cars on the lead lap that is, have completed their pit stops, and the tire rule today indicates only 2 tires allowed per caution play. There's one of them. Let's show you what happened to Ward Burton to produce this damage on the right rear. Watch the upper center of your screen. There's Burton on the inside.
Boy, you see the tire explode, and then he's got his hands full. And what's so bad about a tire not necessarily having flat, but exploding like that? You saw the damage on pit road a while ago. It tears the bodywork off. That shock area is right there where the shock and the spring is. There's so much damage. Not only lose the tire, it really does. It hurts the rest of the race car.
And he has lost now 2 additional laps. Once getting around the racetrack to get to his pits, and now another lap on pit road.
What you have to watch for when you have a flat like that is snatch the brake lines off.
So they continue to work on Ward Burton's car. Again, a word from Jim Melvin on the status of the Milwaukee Mile racetrack today.
This is really our first full year of promoting this facility, and we've done an awful lot of things around here facilities-wise, improvement-wise. More importantly, I think brought a full car to racing here. We've got 4 major events during the year, and I think we're most excited about the aspect of hosting a Busch Grand National event. After waiting for a long time for NASCAR racing to come back to Wisconsin, the folks of Milwaukee, West Allis, and all of the area have embraced this wholeheartedly, and we're very excited.
This facility plays host to a lot of racing and other events as well. When the Wisconsin State Fair comes here in August, this stadium, this grandstand, and this facility will play host to Alabama, Hank Williams Jr., Aretha Franklin, a whole slew of great music acts over the 10 days or so of the annual State Fair. Robert Presley, hood up and down again. Here at the center of pit road, here's Randy.
Well, he's just going to race the pace car off and beat him. He has not gone down a lap, but he's been in 2 times under this caution. Robert radioed a couple of minutes ago and said the car is missing, so they think they got a spark plug wire off. I'm not quite sure right now whether they got it on or not. I'll try and get a word and find out, but the car is missing.
You know, when it was sitting there, I saw the water bucket sitting there. Sometimes they'll take, if they got a plug wire off, that one cylinder's not firing, they'll put a little bit of liquid on each individual header and find out which one's not firing properly. So they're playing around trying to figure out what it is.
We're going back to racing this time. Neil, Jeff Burton over Todd Bodine, David Green, Davey Allison, and Joe Nemechek. As I walked behind the grandstand this morning, one thing that really stood out about every third T-shirt, every third racing T-shirt, you know, as the fans walked past and milled around, was an Alan Kulwicki shirt. They are very, very proud of their homegrown champion. We grew up just a few miles here. Our last trip to Milwaukee, not a pleasant one. It's a little tough walking off the plane after remembering a trip up here this past April. But these Wisconsin fans are going to be very, very sure that that one of their own who achieved and worked hard to win the biggest prize in stock car racing is not going to be forgotten.
No, and I'll tell you, he did it the hard way. He did it right there at that shop with not necessarily the same equipment everybody else had. A lot of effort. I mean, you got to want to credit, incredible job that the team did in the amount of time they were in Winston Cup racing.
We are back under green. Tommy Houston got shuffled a bit there in that restart, and Davey Allison managed to get past him. They are 3 wide in the backstretch heading for turn 3. This can't work.
No, now here's Grissom in this bunch wanting to get that lap back as we talked about earlier. The Burton's behind them. This is their chance to do it.
That's Mike Wallace on the bottom, Richard Lassiter up top, and Grissom sails past Lassiter. Jeff Burton cut his car hard down to the inside. That's Todd Bodine right up with him. That's for the lead.
Yeah, Bodine's got that inside preferred line. Ooh, see Burton get out a little bit wide right there.
And Todd Bodine becomes the 3rd different driver to lead this race.
Yeah, he's been working hard since the start of the race. He got up to 2nd, 3rd place. He never could take the lead, but he's got it now.
Lassiter was trying to get back on the lead lap, as was Mike Wallace. They are 1 lap down. So is Sammy Swindell, Nathan Butke, and Clay Brown, the Florida driver.
There's Davey Allison trying to get under David Green, going down the front straightaway. Green held that inside line.
That'll be for 3rd place.
Tommy Houston, like you say, took the shuffle a little bit on that restart. We see him right behind Allison. Here goes this line trying to work the inside of the 5 car.
And they'll get under the High Point betting car, Richard Lassiter.
Yeah, we see the 6 car. Tommy Houston back, he wants to get under while they've also got him moved out to the outside. Nemechek right behind him.
Yeah, Nemechek is up in amongst the leaders for the first time today.
Yeah, I was questioning, you know, it didn't look like he damaged his car bad, but you don't have to sometimes to really hurt performance, but looks like his car's coming around now.
Back up front. Todd Bodine trying to lap around the outside of Steve Grissom. Not going to be easy. Grissom's been running really well. And here's Burton. I thought he was going to the bottom, Neil.
I thought he was going to try 3 wide, but I think he saw Bodine had a good enough shot to clear the 31 cars. They went down and turned. He's going to follow him around.
Maybe he saw the scoreboard. It's only lap 71.
Yeah, but I tell you what, the 31 is trying to get back in the lead lap, and these other 2 are trying to check out. They're running cars probably a little harder than they want to right now.
They have about 15 car lengths on Davey Allison, who has taken third.
Mike, you know, I'm saying they're running a little harder than they want to. Maybe after this last caution, they read those tires and they got a better feel for it than what they had in practice. Maybe they say, I don't have to be that careful. The tires aren't as bad as they say. They're going to stay with us.
There is no bright sun on the racetrack, Neil, as there was yesterday when it was extremely hot here during practice. Today it's warm, but it's a kind of warm, muggy day instead of a heat, intense, sunny day like it was yesterday.
Yeah, let me tell you what, when that sun pops out, it's like throwing the heater on that surface. Right now, the track temperature is a lot cooler. The outside air doesn't enter into it. Well, here's Burton giving the 31 car a little bit of shove off this corner. He's tired of following. A little bump right there.
Yep.
Taking the inside.
Giving him his own passing flag.
Yeah, he tried it outside, and it was working him too hard. He said, hey, I'm going by. If I'm good enough, I'm going to drive this thing up under him. He was able to do it.
So right now, the one car out ahead of the leaders is Mike Wallace, who is on the tail end of the lead lap. So there's single file among the front spot as Todd Bodine puts Mike Wallace one lap down. 74 laps completed this time by on the Milwaukee Mile. We'll be right back. Welcome back to State Fair Park in West Allis, Wisconsin. I'm Mike Joy with Neil Bonnet, Glenn Jarrett, and Randy Pemberton. 250 laps of Busch racing for you today on TNN. Todd Bodine holding off Jeff Burton. The blue car is the lapped car of Steve Grissom. Then comes Davey Allison.
Yeah, you know, I was watching Davey run a lap 4. He's coming up Grissom, but he's running a different line than he ran before. We talked about him before down below that yellow line. The last few laps he's been out here where we see him. He cut under him because he had to pass the 31, but he'd been running way above the yellow line since that last caution. They might have adjusted the car and made him change his line a little bit.
Well, if he can make a cut like that, Neil, in the middle of the turn and still accelerate off it down low and beat Grissom, he's got to be strong.
Oh yeah, that's a nice problem to have. One that turns
and accelerates. Yeah.
It's about like Red said a while ago. Davey said he's taking it easy. Red said he's going to be good when he gets after it. Oh, I promise you, he's after it now.
Yep. Texaco Mac Tools for Red Farmer wrenches it, test drives it. There he is again.
Yeah, you see, going in before he was all the way under that line. He's staying out and then cutting the corner off on the other side. He might have found something working better for him. You know, during the course of a day when you drive one of these race cars, you let the race car dictate how you run it. It might change from one set of tires to the other, and you just have to change your driving style. Speaking of driving style, here's Jeff Burton trying to get up under Todd Bodine. He's got that line going down in turn 1.
This series does not offer bonus points for leading the most laps, but if it did, Burton would have a bunch of them this year.
And they're blowing the horn a little bit here. Beep, beep.
Yep, beep, beep. I'm back here. Well, Todd didn't like that. He's coming right back at him. No, drops it in line.
Well, that's kind of psychological. You just don't let a guy do it easy.
Yeah.
When he passes you, he says, boy, I got you. Well, you just make sure he remembers it wasn't easy to do.
Nope.
And here he comes right back on him again. The key to this is to put the pressure. Even though the guy passes you, try to get the nose of your car up there. Make that thing get loose. Make his car change his characteristics after he's passed you where it has a different feel. There's Harry Gant. Gant's. Now that's a different place for Harry. He's usually rubbing the wall everywhere we go. And he's down on the apron.
Well, maybe he's trying to rub the inside wall.
Oh, yeah, he's looking for a wall down there.
Gant, following Tommy Houston up through, has moved up into 6th place.
There's Nemechek right back there behind him. Nemechek's wanting to make that pass with him. Got cut off a little bit.
Jack Sprague came into the pits, but went right on by his pit stall and behind the wall.
You know, Gant in the Busch races seems to come on the longer that thing runs. He might have his car working that way today.
Jack Sprague was in 16th, one of 19 cars on the lead lap when he took his car behind the wall a moment ago. Staff America Oldsmobile. Harry Gant coming up. We're seeing Harry awful early today.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, he usually comes on as the race gets older and older and the track gets a little bit slicker. Harry really gets to working good, but cars seem to be doing good early in the race. Nobody's using that bottom lane down there. I don't know if maybe it got some oil on it or something, but nobody's getting down there below that line.
Well, Jack Sprague's car is up on jack stands behind the wall.
Yeah, he's been running really good too. It's a shame to see him have a problem. There's Gant, just went around the 6th car. He just cleared him going down in turn 3.
Gant takes Tommy Houston's number off the leaderboard, and here comes Nemechek in the Dentine car.
Tommy Houston's not going to complain. I tell you, that's the best run he's had all year long. Really good competitor, and sometimes you get that car working right. He's got it good today, and he's driving the car.
Yep. They're lapped by Jerry Glanville in that black Ford. And Nemechek, you see the damage on the front of his car. That happened in about the first 20 laps of this race.
It's just a nuisance during the course of the day because you always question, boy, is it making it do this? Is it making it do that? And it almost makes you hesitant to make a chassis change to overcome a problem that you've messed up with the body.
Mike Wallace in that picture is 1 lap down. Ricky Craven, trying to move up there, is on the lead lap. 18 cars are on the lead lap here at Milwaukee. 84 of 250 laps are complete. Jeff Burton out in front of Todd Bodine, Davey Allison, David Green, and Harry Gant. We'll be right back. Today's 9 laps complete here. There's Jeff Burton's lead over Todd Bodine. It's a little longer distance back to the David Green, Davey Allison battle for third. Presently, David Green holding on to that spot. There they are, right side of your picture, and coming into view here on the front straightaway. That's all the difference there is between third and fourth place.
I tell you what's happening though, the 31 car, the blue car you saw there, is Grissom is starting to close in a little bit with the leaders. He might be able to get that lap back before the day's over.
And the yellow car that flashes into view every once in a while there is Harry Gant, the 5th place car. Here comes Grissom moving on Richard Lassiter. And there's 3rd place.
I tell you what, one thing these guys have got to be thinking about, they're back on that 40-lap run on tires again. They're back to their questionable point, and they're going to have to see how far they can go with these things. If this thing goes green for a while, we'll answer that question.
Lassiter moves over to get that 3rd place battle room. We saw Harry Gant in the picture briefly, the yellow car. He in 5th. And moving up, he had passed Tommy Houston, who now drops back to 6th. Joe Nemechek, Ricky Craven, Tracy Leslie, Darrell Waltrip, and Chuck Bound. Now, Robert Presley, evidently they have missed the setup today. That car started out great, and after 5 laps started advancing to the rear, and he's going a lap down.
Yeah, and the motor, Mike, when the motor comes by here, it sounds like a pea thrasher running. There's something wrong with it. It's rattling and banging, and he's just going to try to hang on the rest of the day.
2 tough weeks in a row for Presley.
I don't know if I've ever seen a 6-cylinder pea thrasher, though. It's hard to tell what it sounds like.
I wouldn't know.
We got pea thrashers in Alabama. That's a good indication right there. The motor's off, but he's able to get through the corner pretty good. But watch down the straightaway here when you got the cylinder off on the car. He just pulls away from him. Then he can close up on him in the corner a little bit. When that motor's down like that, you can almost run through the corner wide open.
So Presley 1 lap off the pace in the Alliance Training Center Chevrolet. And there's the difference 1st to 2nd with Presley, the black car, in the middle between the Baby Ruth Ford and the Fiddle Faddle Chevrolet.
Boy, we see Presley out there. He's wanting to finish this thing for points, but what you're just hoping, you're sitting there with a motor that's kind of self-destructing. You just don't want it to blow all the way up and get into the fence, because then you really got a problem. He's just hoping that thing to finish the race, and running pretty darn hard for the thing to be down that bad.
Now Todd Bodine moving in on Presley. And Harry Gant and Joe Nemechek. Nemechek has passed Gant, and now here comes Tommy Houston.
Yeah, Mike, something happened to Gant's car as he went in the 3rd turn. I don't know if he slipped or what. I saw him way out by the wall, and he was just getting the car back under control when Nemechek came by him. We saw big chunks of rubber flying off his car where he'd been out in that outside part called the marbles. He had picked up a lot of trash. Took him a little while to clean the tires back off. He just got real wide going in this turn right here.
That's right. What happens is these tires wear, of course, they give off little bits of rubber. Actually rubs off the tire, abrades off the tire. And They kind of go up there in the top part of the racetrack and then they cool down. So you come by and you get up there with a hot race tire on your car and all that stuff just adheres to it until you can go and braid it off down in the next corner.
It's no different than stepping on bubble gum with your tennis shoes. This sticks and you try to scrub it off, and that's what happens. It sticks all over these tires.
Let's show it to you. This is what Neil was talking about with Harry Gant's car.
This was even after the pass. Just a little bit before that, he was even higher. See the rubber flying off his tires? Big chunks of rubber flying, hitting the blue car behind him. He had got way out there and picked that trash up, and it really hurt him coming off that corner.
Yeah, those chunks of rubber stick to the tire real good, but they don't stick back down to the racetrack like you'd hope they would.
No, it's used up. It's burned off when it's laying on the track, and they're through with it.
Tommy Houston unable to gain advantage, though, as Joe Nemechek did, and now Gant drops way down to the inside. And looks like he may be headed for the pits. Houston just whistled right on past him.
Well, there's Gant making a run back up there.
Yeah, Harry dropped way down to the inside of the middle of the back straightaway.
Sometimes, Mike, you know, he's trying to sit there. He is way inside there. He's cautious. He might think he's got the tires burned up on the car, and he's giving a little bit extra room out there in case he has a problem. But he's got something really slowing him down. Car really, look how loose the car is. He might be one of the first guys we get to see that test on how far the tires will go, because it looks like he's used up a good bit of his.
Richard Lassiter on pit road. You're watching Gant chase back down Tommy Houston. Todd Bodine is up in a mess of traffic. The second place car having trouble getting around quite a group. There up front, Chuck Bound has just gone a lap down to Jeff Burton. And Roy Payne, or rather that's Joe Bessie going down one lap to Burton in the Auto Palace car, or AC Delco car this week.
Yeah, we see Burton have to get out there and work that. Even though you got a quicker car, you still got to tiptoe when you get in that outside lane. This car's real fast, but he's real cautious going around those cars on the outside.
So heavy race traffic for the leaders. As Burton has gone through, there's Todd Bodine, as Neil told you, lost his contact lenses at Watkins Glen last week, was blind as a fish, he said. So Todd, what have you done to fix that problem for this week so you'll be able to see all day?
Well, we got a little super glue. Clyde said we had to super glue them in. I tell you, I never had anything like that happen before, and you know, it's a shame, but we went back and talked to my eye doctor. We got some special ones now that sports athletes wear. It's a little different. They hold to your eye better, but
in the Havoline Formula 3 250, and caution is out for the 4th time today. Jerry Glanville. I wonder if he's got Harley tires on that thing. Maybe just on one side, because they only 2 of them on the motorcycle.
Maybe they're too narrow.
That could be. He spun up in turn number 4. There's Glanville's car, carrying the big Harley Davidson Eagle logo on the hood, and he has spun at turn number 4 to bring out this 4th caution of the day. The one driver who got caught on that deal was Chuck Bound, who had made a stop under green and thus loses a lap. The rest of the field will get to pit under caution. Looks like this time around. Safety car leading them around.
Car's on the lead lap coming in first. The other one staying out.
There's Jeff Burton, the leader. David Green had taken second from Todd Bodine. Joe Nemechek, Davey Allison, Tommy Houston all coming in. Darrell Waltrip, Harry Gant, Ricky Craven.
Jack's going down on them. They were, I'm sorry, Mike, they were jacking the 8 car. We saw that car up there, and the jack went down on them. They had to stop. It's going to cost him time. Had to jack it back up again.
Got the change done, though, and got him off pit road. And David Green will lead them off pit road. As a result of that, Joe Bessie has come to a halt on the back straightaway.
Nemechek beat him out of the pits there.
Nemechek beats him out of the pits, and that's that champion's choice rule that we've talked about, where the champion gets the first pick of pit positions. If he takes the last position on pit road next to the man with the signboard, all he's got to do is put it in gear and pop the clutch, and he beats everybody out of the pits. That can be quite an advantage.
Yeah, even though the other guys are coming at 40 miles an hour right. Under pit road, all he's got to do is roll, and he's leading them.
So Nemechek will lead for the first time today. He's the 4th driver to lead this race. Well, they've raced here for 92 years at Milwaukee. Carl Haas has taken over the stewardship of this racetrack this year. What lies ahead? Jim Melvin.
With the great, rich history of this facility and the heritage we have to work from, we're very excited about the prospects for the future. Not only are we excited about what we have on the venue now and what we've done facilities-wise, we're planning on doing a lot of spectator amenities in the future, and hopefully part of that's all going to lead up to hosting a Winston Cup race in the not-too-distant future.
Chuck Bound coming in to make a stop under caution. He had lost a lap immediately prior to the caution by stopping under green. Chassis adjustment on the left rear. Glenn is there.
Mike, he's taking advantage of this caution now to come in and change the left side tires. He'll be the only car in the field now with 4 fresh tires on. He didn't even run a lap under green on his right side, so he's going to go back up to the front of the pack on the restart because of the double file restart. With 4 fresh tires, if he can catch a caution, I believe he can get his lap back.
Good chance of that, Glenn. 2 under green, now 2 under yellow, so he has 4 fresh skins.
But what hurt him on that thing, too, is it went a lap down, then he had to pit the second lap because he didn't have the option of pitting on that first lap. So he's going to be back in traffic a little bit.
See where he lines up for the restart. The all-time stock car racing crowd at the Milwaukee Mile is just a shade over 31,000, and it was set back in 1950. Largest crowd for a stock car race here. In fact, the last time they ran this distance, 250 miles, was a USAC stock car race, the Governor's Cup 250, in September 1981, won by Dick Trickle.
They were playing in his backyard. He worked on them, didn't he?
Yeah.
Trickle used to run 7 days a week in this part of the country up here.
That's right. A couple of Wisconsin natives in the field. Robbie Reiser, 30-year-old rookie running his first Busch Grand National Series race, the Slinger Speedway short track champion. And Sammy Swindell has had some World Outlaws victories just down the street at Hales Corners Speedway here in Wisconsin. They raced last night up at Plymouth. There are a lot of short tracks right around this area.
I went to Slinger to race one time. I didn't stay long. I went out of the racetrack. Carried a little V6 Chevrolet up there one time and tried to knock the fence down for him.
Oh, jeez. There's a look at Larry Pearson, who is running on the lead lap. Had that stop and go penalty real early, and he's trying to work his way back up through the field. Glenn?
Well, Mike, I'm standing in Larry Pearson's pit. His sponsor is Stanley Mechanics Tools. And remember, on the first lap, he jumped the flag. Well, Stanley's even got a tool to adjust the driver. When he makes a mistake, they bring him in, threaten him with this big wrench. Now, look how big this thing is. I'm a pretty big guy. It stretches all the way across my arm. Stanley, the home improvement company, they got tools to improve their drivers, too.
I tell you what, Glenn, they use that to adjust the loose nut behind the wheel.
Oh, you know, they have those in IndyCar racing, too, only they're metric.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. These guys, boy, Presley's been in and out. Here comes the pace car down, and Presley just barely beat him out again. They're working on his car on every stop. Motor sounds terrible, but they're still working on the chassis part.
Robert Presley and Ward Burton making pit stops as we get set to go back to green. Here's the way they're running back through 5th place, Davey Allison. In 6th would be Todd Bodine. Larry Pearson is 7th. Harry Gant is 8th. 9th is Tom Peck. Darrell Waltrip is 10th. 11th is Tracy Leslie. 12th, the pole sitter, Bobby Dotter. 13th is Rodney Combs. 14th, rookie Hermie Sadler. 15th, the Michigan rookie Tim Fedua. 16th, the rookie from Texas, Roy Payne. Then Ricky Craven, rookie Nathan Butke. Those cars are still on the lead lap.
Jerry Glanville just pitted, put a numerous amount of rounds of chassis bite in his car. He's spun a couple times, and they're trying to get the car a little bit better for him.
I think while he was in, they took the air cleaner and some other parts off and had them chromed and put them back on.
Yeah, with the Harley insignia on.
Right. That's it.
I tell you what, nobody has any more fun racing than he does. He comes and, you know, everybody jokes with him, kids with him about spinning and crashing, and he just lays right in there with them and jokes back.
He's kind of become the 90s Marty Robbins of stock car racing. Doesn't do quite that well, but he has a lot of fun, and he's real serious about it and about getting better at it.
Just can't win on the road, he said.
Maybe ought to try off-road. Joe Nemechek hauls him off into turn number 1 on the restart. David Green, Jeff Burton, Chuck Bound will not get a lap back, but he is coming hard up the outside. As Glenn pointed out, he has 4 fresh tires. Can't get past Steve Grissom, though, in the backstretch.
Now, what hurts you in a case like that, even though Bound has 4 fresh tires, he needs to pass those guys immediately while he has those fresh tires, and he's got several cars in front of him. Boy, look at Walter. A bunch of traffic stacked up going 3rd turn. You see Walter get a big wrap in the rear as he lifted for that group of cars.
Big lock jam there.
3 wide. You know, you could put them 7 wide down this straightaway. The place is so wide. But you got to thin them out and get down in this corner right here.
73-foot front stretch. The turn is 88 feet. It's a lot wider, but you wouldn't want to use all that 88 feet.
Well, you can just slide for a long time before you wreck.
Long time to think about it before it happens. Here's Darrell dropping to the inside on Joe Bessie. Tracy Leslie's going to come with him as they move past Sammy Swindell. There's Swindell right side of your screen, and Waltrip and Leslie make the pass, but they see the leaders getting away out in front of them. 15 laps will be halfway.
Boy, lap traffic on one of these little flat racetracks where handling is so critical really hurts you. We see Presley, he just went back out of the pits. They're just having all kind of trouble with his car. But this flat racetrack, you can't use the draft. You can't do this or different things to make up time. You make it up in the corner, and it's hard to do.
Presley is 4 laps down as they work past him on the outside. Bobby Dotter trying the inside on Swindell as we go back up front. About to have a challenge for the lead here. David Green and Jeff Burton have caught Joe Nemechek, now free of race traffic. Let's see who's got the handle here. 2 Chevys and a Ford.
Nemechek's car seems to, he really drives in the corner hard. Makes it, see how the distance he got in, but watch the other guys jump on him off the corner. Nemechek's strong suit is in. The 4 car and the 8 is off of the corners where they're stout.
Burton just having a look at him from that Ford.
Green's got the best look at him. He's got him down the inside and he's going, oh me. Burton got in there a little bit hard, got up against the back of Nemechek. Did a good job of getting off of Joe and not turning them both around.
Now he cuts the Ford down to the inside, getting into turn number 3. And Jeff Burton moves back up to second. Nemechek better get down and close the door because here comes Grissom and Todd Bodine.
Yeah, Grissom just can't get out of his head. Hey, I want that lap back.
Right. 113 laps complete. Closing in on halfway. There are your front runners, with David Green out in front of Jeff Burton, Joe Nemechek, Todd Bodine, and Davey Allison. They turned up the oven heat underneath Todd Bodine. Here he goes underneath Jeff Burton. 2 laps ago at turn 4, he got under Joe Nemechek to take over third. Davey Allison came with him. He's going to have the lead as they come down the front straightaway 4 wide. Past Jerry Glanville, and Bodine's got the lead.
Yep, it was Bodine with Davey Allison. They were running 3rd and 4th. They made that move on the inside off turn 4. Came out leading the race. Bodine leading, Allison 2nd now.
And that yellow and black car is Larry Pearson in the Stanley Tools car. He's come up to be a contender. He struggled all day after getting penalized for jumping the restart. It's kept him in the back of the pack, but he has worked his way through and now comes up to run in 4th place. Nemechek is 5th.
I was watching this right here to see if Allison would try to get back in that line where he was so quick early in the race, but it seems like no one could get in that bottom groove. Sometimes you get it oiled up with these engines giving problem. People moving out of the way down to the bottom. Not able to get up under Bodine.
Now also in that pack is David Green in 6th. A couple of lap cars, then a little further back is Tom Peck in 7th place. And Harry Gant. That was a bold move by Bodine. He went from 5th to the lead, Neil, in 2 laps.
They've been running them down, Mike. They've been working on the leaders, You saw the opportunity there to have to go around the lap car. When they did that, they split it with the inside and made the right call.
Also, while we were in break, Tommy Houston went to pit road. Scott and the crew have had the hood up. There it is. And they had just put it back down a moment ago. Looked like they were going to drop him in the garage. Nathan Butke, the 18-year-old from Randleman, North Carolina, has run into the back of something and hard. That will bring out the caution.
Mike, I saw him earlier. He really got into the wall up in turn 3 and 4. I don't know what led to it, but I mean, he really nailed the wall up there.
Caution out of lap 123. That piece of debris you saw is the reason.
Mike, I'm seeing there's another car sitting in the middle of 3 and 4. The one I saw get in the wall. Here we go, the 43 car. I don't know if Butke hit him after he got in the wall, but the 43 scrubbed all the way around the corner earlier.
Bob Brevac with a little damage to the left front corner.
Mike, and people can see right now, look at the rubber on the racetrack. That's what we've been talking about all along. Big clumps of black rubber. That track was swept completely clean for the track, for the race, and that's where you get into up there.
Neil, let's get an update on the tire story from Randy Pemberton.
Well, all that rubber down on the racetrack is a good indication that they're using a lot of tires, and they're doing just that. What you're seeing around here are guys that want to get tires mounted. The only problem is we're standing in front of the Goodyear tent where they mount the tires. Goodyear is out of them. They brought 600 tires here. Hoosier's got plenty left, but Goodyear has them beat 3-1 on tires here. They're all out of tires, so the teams bring their wheels down here, wait for other cars to fall out of the race. They'll go down to those pits and they'll argue with other crews to try and get their tires. So Goodyear out of tires for right now.
Randy, one side of that too, even though you say Hoosier has tires available, whatever you start on, if you start on Goodyear's, you have to finish on them. Right. You start on Hoosier, you have to finish, so you cannot change brands during the course of the race.
All right, they're going to hook a wrecker up to Bob Brevac's car. We're under caution with Todd Bodine leading Davey Allison, Jeff Burton, Larry Pearson, and Joe Nemechek. Motorsports exclusive coverage of the Havoline. Still under caution here as they take the halfway sign from the flag stand. For Nathan Butke's crash up between turns 3 and 4. Bob Brevac also involved. Brevac's car has gone behind the wall. They continue to work on Butke's number 66 on pit road. 7 cars out of the race as they'll line up another lap or 2 and get ready to go back to green. Look at Todd Bodine, the race leader. Here's your Napa Field standing update. Brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. Neil, the cameramen up on the roof report gale force winds up there. This front of thunderstorms is headed toward us, and we've got a couple of folks that had to get roped down to the roof to keep from getting blown off up there. Imagine that wind going off into turn number 3 is going to be that's the direction. It's coming from turn 1 toward turn number 3, and it's a pretty stiff one.
You know, when we were on the roof, Mike, it was pretty windy, and it's really picked up now. This flat track going in there, and there's not a lot of structures in the infield of this racetrack, so the wind really whips across there, and it could give them a little bit of problem getting in 3, slide them out a little bit wider than they want to be.
We're going to go back to green this time with Bodine leading Larry Pearson. Then Jeff Burton, David Green, and Davey Allison. Darrell Waltrip up to 6th.
I think I'll go down in the pits and be the agent on who buys whose tires the rest of the day.
Yeah.
It could be a premium in the pits today. But I tell you what, they're going to have to start looking at, Mike, with this wind picking up. You know, that weather's setting out there ready to come in here. They're going to start playing this race like this is the last run. They're not going to be able to wait. They're going to have to go as hard as they can go.
Sure, a little replay on Davey Allison here. In the pits.
Oh, gave him a gear shift knob. The knob has come off the shifter, and Davey's putting a new shifter ball on there. I've had him do that during the course of the race, and that thing's just a shaft sticking up and sticking your wrist and your palm shifting gears, so you had to put one on it.
Don't tell me we're the first one out. We're back to green. Larry Pearson getting underneath Steve Grissom, who again tries hard but cannot get his lap back from the leader. This time, Todd Bodine.
You know, I'm sure all these crews have told their drivers, hey, there's some bad weather setting out here. We're past the halfway mark. Let's get up front if we can.
11th lead change of the day. Todd Bodine at the front. He's now led a total of 12 laps.
Mike, we just got a message that Tommy Houston's problem was the distributor was messed up. So they're having to change all that.
They will try to get him back in this race, however. Of all the drivers in this race, Pearson and Houston have the best finishing records in Busch Series events here. Houston was 5th in 1985. Davey Allison, we're showing in 1984 up here. As well, the 2 Busch races they ran here were in 1984 and 85.
At the times Davey came up, he was driving for Bobby Allison, driving Bobby's cars back then. And I drove for Bobby for a while. He used to say, just load up, go to Wisconsin, load up, go to Milwaukee and Minnesota. And I said, hey, I've never been there in my life. But Bobby would send you to some nice places to race all over the country. Davey had a good general education on how to run on all these different racetracks. A lot of fun back then.
Darrell Waltrip moving up. He's in 6th place. And as we're past the halfway point, it's about time to start seeing Waltrip.
Yeah, because I'm sure they're tough. Look here, coming off turn 4. I mean, that's about as close as you can get them. Leaning on each other off 4th turn. Boy, look there. They're out there wide. They carried each other real hard in that corner. Both of them were wider than normal. There's Grissom might have that opportunity to get that lap back while these guys are battling.
Yeah, both of them were closer than normal, too.
Yeah, there comes Burton. He says, hey, let me back in the middle of this deal.
Yeah, Pearson takes Todd up high in 3. That leaves Burton the bottom shot. Let's see.
Well, just a while ago, we saw him leaning on. Oh, he cleared him this time. That's right there. They were touching pretty hard at this part of the track.
So Larry Pearson, the former Busch Series champion, leads for the first time today. From Todd Bodine, Jeff Burton, Davey Allison still holding 4th. David Green in 5th. Waltrip is 6th. Tracy Leslie in 7th.
Burton's pulling right up on the back bumper. Bodine looked like he might have a little bit something for him. Cars work good on the bottom of the racetrack.
Here's your AC Delco Auto Parts mid-race recap. AC Delco, it's like buying time. 4 different leaders, 10 lead changes. Average speed, 87 miles per hour. First Busch race at this distance, so we'll set the record today. 5 cautions for 22 laps. 6 cars out of the race, 16 cars on the lead lap. AC Delco, it's like buying time.
We saw over that shot there, Jeff Burton didn't make that pass on Bodine, excuse me, Todd Bodine, and now he's reeling in the leader. Davey Allison on the inside.
Four cars a lap down. Now Steve Grissom is the blue car, and he's not just trying to get his laps back, he's having his hands full. Right behind him, Jason Keller in 57, the rookie out of Greenville, South Carolina. That's a battle for position between Keller and Grissom, and Keller's been working his way to the front.
Yeah, these guys do not want to give up one position because of that season-long points battle. And I mean, they're going to fight it. Here's Davey Allison. We see Davey right there in front of Grissom. We saw the black car, Davey Allison, down inside of Bodine.
And here comes Keller against Grissom. That's for position. That's for 17th spot. This one up here is for 3rd. And Davey will get it.
Here comes Bodine pulling back up on the outside of Allison right in the middle of that corner. But coming off should be where Davey should be able to make that pull on him. Car twitching a little bit up off that corner.
But Davey completes the pass and heads off towards Larry Pearson and Jeff Burton. Davey Allison on the Texaco Mac Tools Ford now up to 3rd. Jerry Glanville completes a pit stop under green. Goes back out, and they're going to push Tommy Houston's car to the garage.
That's a shame to see Houston have that kind of problem, because that was the best run we've seen him have in a long time, and something mechanical knocked him out.
There are your 3 leaders. Pearson, Burton, and Allison.
Yeah, Burton was running down the leader just a minute ago, and it looks like Pearson has pulled out for him a little bit now. Allison's closing in on Burton.
136 laps complete here. There's a look at your top 5 as Tommy Houston's car gets rolled back to the garage. The fountain in front here at West Allis, Wisconsin. Place where folks stop and take a break during lunchtime. A lot of great hospitality shown to the Busch drivers and to our TNN crew here by the folks around Milwaukee. Davey Allison made the pass while we were away on Jeff Burton. Let's show it to you. This was for 2nd spot.
Mikey got a good run at him coming off the 4th turn right on the bottom where Davey's cars work good all day. Drives up beside him down this big straightaway, front straightaway, exceptionally wide. And he was able, as they went down in turn 1, to hold that line. And that's all you've got to do. Just maintain that positioning right there. And then up off the corner, you have the advantage on it.
Well, Neil, the story of this race may, as we said at the top of the day, turn out to be tires. Not necessarily the ones on the race car, but the ones sitting in each driver's pit. Here's Glenn.
Well, Mike, the tire you're looking at is the last set of new tires that Davey Allison has. The problem with them is they're left side tires. They have no more new right side tires. Red Farmer has all the guys in the crew running around to other people trying to get some tires. I'm going to see if I can get a word with him. Red, we know you're out of right side tires. Are you able to buy any from anybody else?
Well, we're going to know. We're checking everybody up down pit road. We're going to put, we took some off at 18 laps. We're going to turn around and pull it back up and maybe have to put the used tires back up. We haven't got nothing. Goodyear's been out of tires. I can't believe they come here with not enough tires to run the race. We went down there at 70 laps to try to get more tires, and it was already out.
Well, that's the story from Davey Allison. Every competitor along pit road is running Goodyear tires facing the same problems. There are no more right side tires.
Glenn, while Scott Houston pushed his dad's car around behind the wall, it looked like there was looting going on in the Rosa Stores pits. People were coming in there and just grabbing tires, running in every which direction once they'd fallen out of the race.
You know, Red made the statement he might have to go with 18-lap tires and put some scuffs back on Allison. I'm just telling you, new tires are the way to go. If they have to start using scuffs, he's not going to be able to maintain this pace he is right now.
He's running down Larry Pearson, and we're not sure. Can't see from this, from our angle, all the way down to Pearson's pit to see what he might have left for tires. But we do know that Jeff Burton, who is the third place car, looks like he has half a dozen of sticker tires lined up in the pits of the Baby Ruth Ford.
Mike, while we're watching this race on the racetrack, I'm like you, I'm watching the pits. I see Davey Allison's crew member running from pit to pit to pit, and they're empty-handed so far. He just went to the next one. They're stopping at every pit. They're going up in the trailer of a car that's fell out over there.
Yeah, that's Bob Dotter's car. Glenn is down there.
Allison's crew has come over and jacked up the right side of Dotter's car to take those right side tires off. They're better than what they've got sitting there. Only problem is they didn't check with Dotter's crew first. One of their crew came running up. They told him what to do, and they said, oh, okay, we understand now. Go ahead. So they are getting the right side tires off of Bobby Dotter's crew, but a little bit of anxious moments there. Thought there was a little thievery going on in pit road, but everything's cool now.
Well, you know, Glenn, we've talked how the pits at some of these races, the garage area looks like a junkyard. This is a wrecking yard. Now, that car started the race, ran about 5 laps, went to the garage with some undisclosed problem. They're going to put it up on jack stands and steal the wheels and tires.
I'll tell you what, looks like Davey needs some tires. His car is good enough. Here he goes, make the pass. He's going to need them later in this race. As good as his car's running, he's got a shot to win this thing. We see him making a run on the leader.
Against Larry Pearson, Davey Allison will take the lead at turn number 3. Pearson drops in. One thing we don't know, even though there are 146 laps on the board, and this is a 250-lap race, thunderstorm activity in the area. We are told rain is moving in, so we don't really know how long this race has to run.
The thing that would be tough about this, we just went past the halfway mark. And if they're just if they got that kind of shortage now, it could really be instrumental before the day's over.
Todd Bodine, Darrell Waltrip moving in. This is for 5th place. A little further up pit road, Joe Bessie's backup car. That ran a couple laps today. There are tires on that. And also Mike Wallace's second car ran 1 lap and pulled into the garage.
This is one of those deals you better not park on the wrong street. When you get back, your wheels will be gone.
Monty Hall would make a good crew chief today, do you think?
Let's make a deal here while we can.
Here's Jason Keller coming up against Todd Bodine. He is 1 lap down. Still trailing Steve Grissom for 16th, make that 17th position, 1 lap back, the 57 car.
I see Jack Sprague's crew just brought a set of tires over and dropped them off in Allison's pit, so they're gaining on it.
Yep. Yeah, they'll have a pretty good stack in there before they're done, I think.
I tell you what, old Red Farmer's been around racing so long, everybody owes him a favor.
There you go.
He might be calling them in today.
Davey Allison leads Larry Pearson. Ford against Chevrolet here. Jeff Burton's Ford in 3rd, David Green's Chevy in 4th, and Darrell Waltrip's Chevy is 5th. We'll be right back to Milwaukee after this.
We've seen in the past, the guy that gets that inside line can usually make it around. There he goes. He cleared him. As I was saying, you know, one reason it's been so long since that win, he hasn't been that active. Been out for quite a bit.
Here's 3rd place, Neil. David Green and Jeff Burton with Green taking over the 3rd spot. When we went to break, it was Ford, Chevy, Ford, Chevy. Now it's Chevy, Ford, Chevy, Ford.
Looks like, you know, at Myrtle Beach, Jeff Burton's car, the 8 car we're looking at here, was probably one of the best, if not the best, on tires, saving the tires. And it looks like right now he's having a little bit of problem even with it.
Steve Grissom trying to get up and under. Grissom 1 lap down. He has been since lap 4. Back to turn 1.
Oh, you see Burton's car.
Yep.
Man, the back end out from under him going down in that corner. And that's not even with the power on. That's strictly entering the corner without power. So he's having to really be careful with that throttle.
Grissom, meanwhile, in the channel lock car is 16th, 1 lap down. Burton is 4th. And Darrell Waltrip moving up on Burton as a result of that bobble by Jeff.
Look at the chunks of rubber flying, Mike, as we talk. You know, it's just flying everywhere in there. Look at Burton's car.
Yep.
Boy, he has got his hands full.
Back end almost turned around on him again. Looks like just as he tries to get the power down, the back end comes skating out from under him. Let's show it to you again.
This was the lap before. You'll see him go in right here. He's off the throttle. Right in the middle corner, he's going to have to make the big cut of the apex of the corner and apply power right there. It just will not hook up.
And Waltrip has passed him. That's fourth position.
You know, up until this point, we've had that caution come out just when they needed it every time. 40 laps, 50 lap run. This is the longest run they've made on the green, and it's starting to show up. They're going to talk to Coach Glanville again. He's been the designated caution when they needed these things for tires. He's laying in there with them this run.
Yep. And look at a Waltrip's pit. Looks like a set and a half mounted up in Darrell's pit. Big knot of cars. Now Tom Peck is on the lead lap. Ooh, he tried to get under Chuck Bound and the car wouldn't cut anymore. Bobby Dotter gets under him. Chasing Harry Gant.
That's what's bad. When you're in traffic like this and you're already getting a car where it's slipping and sliding a little bit, you really got to be careful. Slip a little bit, tag one of these guys, and you're both going for a ride.
This race is for 7th place. And you notice Todd Bodine has drifted back into that group. He was up amongst the leaders just a little bit ago. That's Harry Gant on the left side of your screen. Chuck Bound is at least a lap down in the Nescafe car, 63, just behind Gant. Then it's Todd Bodine trying to hold off Bobby Dotter. Joe Nemechek is in there. Tom Peck as well. Hermie Sadler. They're all on the lead lap. Good battle here.
We saw Bodine getting that outside lane, lost the positioning.
And Burton looked like he must have lost the car up between 3 and 4.
Mike, we've been seeing him have a lot of trouble, and he's been able to recover it as he got in the corner. That time he really slid wide up in 3 and 4. The problem he's got to worry about now is blowing that tire out. You run it past the rubber down into the cords, and the next thing you have is an explosion with the tire, and we've already seen what happens when one of those tires blow out.
Or run it so the tire gets so hot, not only does it not stick, but the tread rubber separates itself from the carcass of the tire.
He's just having to hang on, hang on.
Yep.
What you'll see him do in a case like this, he'll hang on until the leader comes to him. He's going to try to hold him off till the leader gets there. Then if he gets lapped, he'll have to dive in the pits.
Right. If he pits now, he'd get lapped anyway. So you stay out there and hope and hope and hope for a caution and hope you're not it.
Yeah, that's what he's got to be concerned with, because he's really got the car out from under him right now. That's where they tell you just to pedal as fast as you can without using tires up.
Right.
It's kind of hard to do that.
Jeff will go off to New Hampshire next week to run his first ever Winston Cup race. He'll have a Jack Roush Ford. It'll carry number 0, be painted black, Phil Martossi's colors, and you'll see it live here on TNN. Joe Nemechek will also be at New Hampshire, and Dentine has announced that they will sponsor him in his Winston Cup debut next Sunday.
Yeah, I tell you, it's good to see some of these guys take that step in the middle of the season or whatever to get their feet wet and see what they think about Winston Cup racing or how they can perform at that level. They work at this Busch Series to eventually go into Winston Cup racing, and now they're starting to venture out on their own to get a taste of it. 31 car, Grissom coming down while we're watching these leaders come down the front straightaway.
And this will likely be a scheduled stop, but it will end any chance he has of getting back up on the lead lap. Larry Pearson has opened up a pretty good separation now. You see it. There's Pearson, the yellow and black car, nearly half a straightaway over Davey Allison in second place. So Allison perhaps playing it very conservative, or it could be that Pearson's car, which worked hard for the first half of this race getting up to the front, is that stout.
Here's Jeff Burton coming down pit road. We saw him have a tremendous amount of trouble. We'll see if we can pick him up coming down pit road here. There he is.
Now the leader's just coming out of lap number 4, or turn number 4. Here's Randy.
Jeff radioed a few minutes ago and said he thought he had a right side tire going down. He didn't know. He thought it might have been the right rear. We're just going to go ahead and change 2 right sides. The sad thing is for this team is they've got just about more tires than anybody. They got 2 full sets back here. Unfortunately, the set they had on the car just wasn't working for him.
No, and he does go a lap down as a result. As they were pulling those tires off, Larry Pearson went past to put Burton 1 lap down. Here's Glenn.
Well, I'm not so sure that he has more tires than anybody. This is Tony Lambert. This is the crew chief for Larry Pearson, and you guys are okay tire-wise too.
I think so. We've been running around like a chicken with our head chopped off hunting for tires, but I think we've got enough to finish.
All right, he has gone and borrowed tires. Ricky Pearson, Larry's brother, crew chief for Robert Presley, said they could have the tires from them. They're not in contention. So Stanley Tools Aluminum, Ricky Pearson, and Larry Pearson looks good.
Todd Bodine getting a stop under green.
I think you're going to see some of these guys have to make that call. The pace is slowed down so bad. If a couple of the lead guys come in and get tires on, well, they're going to make up so much time you'll never overcome it.
Neil. Todd lost exactly 1 lap, came right back out on the track near Harry Gant, just where he was running. When he pitted, Tom Peck is in. Tom, one of the top 10 cars.
But I tell you what, you're going to see these guys that put tires on come out look like a rocket ship. Nemechek's right up by the wall in 3 and 4. Must be out of tires. He slid way out. Almost got in the wall. Didn't make any contact.
We stay under green. Here at Milwaukee, 166 laps complete. And the tires in some of these cars wearing thin. We'll be right back. Larry Pearson continues to lead at Milwaukee. Harry Gant just made a pit stop. We saw Steve Grissom pit. Tracy Leslie is in. Mike Wallace is in. Joe Nemechek also stopped for tires.
Yeah, Mike, and here's a real good example of what those tires do. The 31 car just stopped a few laps ago and put those tires on, driving right by the leader. Those fresh tires make a big difference.
So Steve Grissom gets 1 of his 2 laps back from leader Larry Pearson. Ricky Craven is on pit road for tires, and all these teams appear to be taking on right side tires during these pit stops. Neil, 80 laps to go. They could probably go the distance on gas. It's from here. It's can they go the distance on tires?
That's going to be the big question mark, Mike. You'd almost say you hope it don't come out with a caution because there's not enough stuff for everybody to put on the cars. If it goes green, they'll be limited to how many tires they can use, but it's going to be hard to go the rest of the way without a lot of slipping and sliding.
Let's find out from Glenn.
Well, a lot of slipping and sliding is right. You see this hunk of stuff here? This is used tire rubber. Every time these guys stop, they peel this stuff off underneath the hood and around the fenders. That's how these tires are wearing. Now, in Goodyear's defense, I talked to Phil Homer before the race today. Milwaukee is normally not a track that gives them trouble tire wear-wise. They just didn't expect any problems, but these radial tires are getting a real bite on the racetrack, so they're using the tires up a lot faster than they thought they would.
Mike, it's just like Glenn said, these tire companies come in here and they test, they try to do the best they can, but you can never tell until you get out there and run them under race conditions. So, I mean, these tire companies do such a great job week in and week out. Every now and then you just get yourself caught like this.
Todd Bodine moving against Darrell Waltrip. Bodine moving up. You see, he just got tires. It's kind of like the same dilemma of the engine builder, Neil. Do you build a tire that sticks or do you build a tire that lasts?
Yep.
And you have to find a happy medium to accomplish both. Tim Fedewa was one of the cars on the lead lap. The rookie driver had climbed up to 5th position with those pit stops. Now he's making his stop under green in the Procal Ford. Darrell Waltrip up to 4th on the board.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. When you get in a place where you've got to discipline yourself not to wear the car out, not to use the tires up, Waltrip is as good as there is at that.
There's Fedewa's yellow car coming off pit road. He got a good pit stop for 2 tires. He was 5th behind Waltrip. And Fedewa comes back out on the track just about in exactly the same place relative to the other cars, just 1 lap down. Larry Pearson up in front of this field. trying to win his first Busch race in 5 years. The Morima Chevrolet of Harry Gant.
Yeah, and I bet you these other guys get the luxury of a caution flag to pit. It's questionable, will they put this flag out? They're going to have to see some liquid in turn 3 and 4 before they put the caution. It's not out yet. They look like they'll get a caution.
Nope. And the Ed Whitaker car goes to the garage.
This is when all the rest of the crews are telling NASCAR.
Look right there, Neil, just to the left of that car. Somebody in a red fire suit came running over already. Can we have the tires?
Yeah, they're
car hadn't even rolled to a rest. Can we have those tires?
Yeah, they won't have a trouble selling them, I promise you. Boy, these little V6 motors, they abuse them in this series. They really turn them hard. It just costs a few motors as they go on. I'll tell you what, this car right here, this 92 car with Pearson, is really doing a good job getting this kind of distance. Davey Allison just came down pit road. He was running second. Let's see if he puts new tires on, or stickers, or scuffs. Coming there, look like scuff tires.
I think they are, Neil. Yep.
They were able to borrow some tires from some teams, and it wasn't new.
Here's David Green on pit road, the third place car. This will move Waltrip up to second. Good stop for Davey for gas in 2. See him go past Ward Burton's car on pit road, making a scheduled stop. Robert Presley and Roy Payne making their pit stops. Davey's back out on the track and moving underneath Robbie Reiser, the Allentown, Wisconsin driver.
Boy, look right behind Allison after that stop. This is critical here. He does not need that 92 to get around and put him a lap down. He's got, even though their scuff tires are fresher, he should be able to hold that 92 off for Pearson. Pearson's coming in.
Yeah, he's coming in, and so is Waltrip. And Hermie Sadler. So the leader on pit road. Let's go to Glenn.
Well, Mike, Larry Pearson is bringing the Stanley Tools Lumina into the pits. This pit crew wants a chance to make up. Remember, Larry was running so well at Dover, and the pit crew left a adjustable wrench when they made a chassis adjustment late in the race. Cost him a top 5 position there. They want a good pit stop. This is right side tires only. There's a little damage to the right front of Larry's car there. He got into somebody, but it's just not ready. He is down and away. Let's see if he can hold off Allison and keep that lead.
Tracy Leslie goes past Mike Wallace as Pearson comes up to speed. Finishing up the Darrell Waltrip stop. Waltrip goes back out. He climbed up to second on the leaderboard while all that pitting was going on, and I believe Pearson is back out in front of Davey Allison.
Mike, it looks like he's leading him by about 100 yards on after that set of pit stops.
The Luxair Heating Ford of Rodney Combs coming in to make his pit stop. Combs had picked up the lead when Darrell Waltrip came onto pit road. So give Rodney Combs credit for leading. They used that broom to get some of that tire debris off of the grill that impedes the airflow to the radiator. Those 2 black ducts to either side are for the brakes. And there's Combs back out. So now just about everybody is pitted. I've not seen Bobby Donner on pit road. He's the third place car.
Don Waltrip here's leading the race. He's able to stay out there longer than any of them so far. And now Waltrip is leading.
But Darrell, having made his stop, will get an update from scoring here in a minute.
Don't listen to my score because I had him leading again.
That's okay. Sammy Swindell making a pit stop. Now here's Allison just in front of Jeff Burton. They will be second and third. Larry Pearson, after this round of green flag stops, goes back up front to the lead. There's Bobby Dotter, the yellow car behind Burton. And I'm not sure if Dotter has made a stop. I don't believe so.
No, and I did notice that when Pearson put tires on, he put sticker tires on over scuff, so that should help him also.
So Larry Pearson once again the leader. Davey Allison there is second, and the 8 car of Jeff Burton is third. We'll be right back to the Wisconsin State Fair Park.
Well, Mike, after that great pit stop that got Larry Pearson back out front, at an anxious moment for his crew, a NASCAR official came by and told them that they thought they had seen a belt come off of Larry's car. However, now they have determined that the belt was off of somebody else's car. He just ran over it and it bounced out from under his car. But boy, had him shook up for a little while there. But they say everything is A-OK. They did get another set of right side tires from the Robert Presley crew, so he's in great shape right now.
Thanks, Glenn. There's second place at stake. Jeff Burton getting past Davey Allison, and Allison coming right back after him.
Well, the story on Davey is they're out of stickers for the right-hand side of the car. What they've got on there right now, 20-lap scuffs when they put them on. So they got those from Bobby Dotter. No more sticker tires for the rights. They do have a set for the left, though, for the next pit stop.
Car in the wall, turn 4.
And here they come.
Is that Glanville again? Oh, boy.
It looked like might be Coach up there in that end. It's hard to tell. It's a black car. I saw him loop it, get into that outside wall.
Sixth caution of the day. Neil comes out at lap 188. And that is Jerry Glanville. So of the 6 cautions, the coach is batting .500. He's brought out 3 of them. We'll be back to the Milwaukee Mile after this. Project here in West Allis, Wisconsin, the Veterans Memorial. Individuals purchased bricks surrounding the memorial and a personalized inscription thereon. About 90% of the total had been sold, and the funds helped to fund that memorial there in West Allis. Pit stops have been the order of the day. Speaking of memorials, Alan Kulwicki has been voted into the Wisconsin Sports Hall of Fame. Spokesperson Joe Sweeney announced that the mandatory 5-year waiting period for retired athletes had been waived. So it's good news. Here's coming up next Saturday here on TNN. The Auto Palace Slick 50 150. You'll see the NASCAR Busch North cars and a 40-lap shootout for the NASCAR Winston Modified Tour. That's next Saturday afternoon here on TNN. Next Sunday, of course, the Winston Cup race at New Hampshire, first ever there. Left side.
They're going to do a little bit of chassis adjustment on right there. You see them taking some bite out of that car. That must have been complaining the car a little bit tight, took a little bit out of it. Chuck Pound going with right side tires.
And here's a replay a little earlier. Steve Grissom coming in, Larry Pearson coming out. Oops.
Excuse me. So Nemechek right at the end there, sitting in that championship pit, as you talk about, Mike, at the end. It sure helps.
A little damage on the right front corner of Pearson's car. He nudged into somebody there, but not at all hard. So while we're under caution, we'll take this opportunity for a break and hopefully come back with green flag racing here at Milwaukee. 59 laps to go. We'll be right back. A little curious here in Milwaukee as they come off pit road and get ready for the restart. NASCAR officials telling Darrell Waltrip's crew that he is 1 lap down and goes to the front of the outside row to try to get that lap back. They have picked up as the race leader Rodney Combs to lead them down. Hermie Sadler in second, Larry Pearson in third, Jeff Burton in fourth. Here they come.
We'll have to see how this shakes out, Mike. They're showing scoreboard one thing and telling us something else. We'll just have to see what happens here. The one car was able to jump right there. Waltrip was wanting to get around him. Rodney Combs moved inside, held him back just a little bit.
And there's Todd Bodine battling with Davey Allison and David Green. Bobby Dotter on the outside, trying to get back to the front as they lap past Sammy Swindell.
Here we go with that 3 and 4 abreast down this big wide straightaway.
They're now showing Waltrip on the tail end of the lead lap. And the report we are now getting is that Larry Pearson, rather than Rodney Combs, is the race leader. Combs was at the front of the line as he was on the tail end of the lead lap. He had not been lapped by Pearson, but he was on the tail end of the lead lap when they got the green for the restart. So now Rodney Combs, the number 1 car, and Waltrip tail end of the lead lap. Pearson's the leader, and Hermie Sadler is going a lap down.
Yeah, and Pearson, the way he's running, he's trying to get that 17 down and that 1 car. We see the Waltrip car move the inside, trying to get on the 1. He's not able to do it right now.
Pearson will drop down with him. Trying to keep an eye in the mirror on Ward Burton, and here comes Bobby Dotter.
And there's Pearson.
Ooh, Dotter gets into Burton.
You know, just as Pearson made the pass, Dotter and them get hung up coming up off the corner.
There just wasn't enough bottom of the racetrack for both of them.
No, it's so big and wide. They think they can do a whole lot, but there's just a very little racing surface right there in that inside. And they got it tangled up coming off corner. There's Waltrip on the outside of Pearson fighting to stay in that lap.
But Larry Pearson has the bottom line. Here comes Todd Bodine up to challenge for second.
Boy, I tell you, Waltrip has done just about as good as anybody we've seen work that outside lane. He does not want to give that position up. They touch coming down the front straightaway. He's still not going to give that position up.
Darrell's real stout from the middle of the corner on out.
If he can work Pearson and work him right here and work up to the 1 car, he might can get Pearson hung behind that car. But Pearson has been, gosh, look at Waltrip's car jump right here. He needs to work Pearson on that 1, and I'm sure Darrell's thinking about it. If he can just hold him off for 1 more lap, he might can pin him behind him.
At the same time, Neil, Todd Bodine got into the back of Jeff Burton and got him loose going into 3.
Pearson was able to get all the way by Waltrip going in there, so that took that possible pick away from him.
Now it's Todd Bodine battling Jeff Burton, who goes high. Todd goes low, and Burton comes down and gives him a slap.
And they go even lower. It's grass. The next part is grass if they move any lower.
And Bodine responds with a tap on Burton.
And Pearson taps the 1 car. I tell you, these things don't have horns, but that front bumper works pretty good.
I can't tell which race to watch. The one for first or the one for second. Now Dotter's on the outside. He slid back out of that. He was right with him for second place. Now David Green looked to the bottom on Todd Bodine there in the 44 car.
Mike, one thing is bringing this type of racing on, they can go the rest of the way no matter with the tire wear or anything. They know this could be their last green run, and they're going to have to get to the front in a hurry.
And they know these cars, the handling is going to start to deteriorate, so you better make that move now while you got a car that'll stick under you.
Yep, well, I tell you, Pearson, once he got out there, he's put some distance on him. But he's not having to do like the rest of these guys, fight that traffic, fight the traffic. There's Bodine trying the outside of Waltrip.
And Burton has David Green to deal with there. 3rd place.
We see Todd Bodine. He cleared more than, yeah, there's Allison dropping to the inside.
Yep. Davey was up amongst the top 10, was on the lead lap. He's coming to pit road. Jerry Glanville's in the pits with the hood up.
It must be something mechanical. I don't see a tire down at all on Davey's car. Yep, he's headed behind the wall. Had a good run.
And as soon as he turned behind the wall, Darrell Waltrip's crew came over into this pit. There's the man looking for tires, just in case.
Kind of like vultures hanging around.
Vultures, yeah. Well, he was only 1 pit away, so it wasn't far to go.
What a coincidence.
Yeah.
Just happened to be next door to me.
Look at this now. Todd Bodine has caught Larry Pearson. Pearson opened up that big advantage. It's gone.
Hey, I see an auctioneer down in the pits down there. They're bidding now.
It's Lewis Compton from Martinsville.
Well, I tell you now, Bodine, once he got around Waltrip, look at this distance. He's closing in on Pearson. I thought Pearson had enough car once he got out front, he could check out, but this pack's coming.
Todd Bodine had the car perhaps to win Watkins Glen last week. He said within a couple of seconds of each other, both contacts slid out of it, popped out of his eyes on a restart, and he was blind as a fish the rest of the race.
Well, he's got him in pretty good today because he's zeroing in. He's got his sight set right here on this 92 car.
Yeah, that black and yellow car in front won't be hard to see.
I'll tell you what, Pearson, though, really would like to win this race. After being off the circuit a while back on to get in a car like this, I'm sure he's going to run hard here. Right here, look at Bodine. What a move up off the corner. His car jumped off that corner.
That's a Ron Hutter V6 Chevrolet power plant in Todd Bodine's car, looking for his 2nd win of the year.
Hutter is notorious for powering these six-cylinder motors, and it's showing up right here.
And there is a report of rain in the immediate vicinity. What's that word? Vicinity. Jeez.
That's Alabama for area.
46 laps to go. I think it's raining in the booth here.
Yeah, that's why you're seeing these guys turn the wick up on these cars. They knew they could go the last 60 laps, which we had left, but now they start to talk about this rain. So to them, every lap is the white flag.
Let's get a report on the track conditions from a guy who's been out there. Here's Randy.
Well, Davey, speaking of the track conditions, you had a pretty good run. How is it out there?
Well, Randy, the racetrack's in pretty good shape. You know, the tires are just wearing out pretty fast.
Trouble, turn 2.
Our Mac Tools Texaco Havoline Thunderbird was really running good. It was hooked up good.
We got a wreck, Davey. Wait 1 second.
Rodney Combs and Chuck Bound have bounced off the wall at turn number 2. Combs keeps going. You see damage on the left rear of his car. I'm not sure if he contacted the wall, but he was in the accident. And I believe the second car involved was Chuck Bound. So we're under caution here. Let's go back down to Randy Pemberton.
Davey, you were telling us about the track conditions. They were okay out there.
Yeah, the track conditions are good. The tires are wearing out pretty fast, but you know, like I said, we were running pretty good. We had a new set of right sides in the pits waiting for another pit stop. Right now would be perfect and we'd be ready to go because I think everybody else had used up most of their right sides. But you know, today's a tremendous confidence booster. I got to say thanks to all the guys back at the Winston Cup shop for working as hard as they have been. You know, we run good today. We're going to run good next week at New Hampshire in the Winston Cup car. We're going to get back in victory lane pretty soon.
If you had to pick somebody out there today, who would it be now that you're out?
I'll tell you, Larry Pearson really looks good right now, but don't count Jeff Burton out. He's running good too.
Thoughts of Davey Allison. There is the damage on Rodney Combs' car from a 2-car crash. 1 car got hard up into the wall there in turn 2. Let's have a look.
Here they are coming up off of that corner. We see the white car right in the edge of the over the left side of the screen. Yellow car there, Mike. They got together. Yeah, they got together. Got a little tap. It turns the 1 car around, and these other guys trying to avoid them. Comes Bound down in the grass.
Yeah, it was Chuck Bound we saw going to the grass to get by. He had slowed. There's all the tire smoke. Thought Combs had gotten the wall. Apparently not. But there's Chuck trying to avoid him down on the bottom side.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people try to get in that grass area. He made it.
Yeah. So Larry Pearson and Todd Bodine both take the opportunity to rather. Todd Bodine stays out. Larry Pearson pits. There's Rodney Combs.
Yeah, Burton beat him out. Jeff Burton beat Pearson out of the pits.
So we'll resort the order for you when we come back. 43 laps to race here in Milwaukee. Caution here at Milwaukee. Now let's show you as they came around on the second lap of caution who's going to pit and who's not, and who's going to try to fool who.
We see them coming behind the pace car. Now they're working their way right up to where you have to commit to come down pit road. What's the little mind games right here? Look, okay, I'm going in. Yeah, I am. No, I'm not. The 2 front cars stayed out. Pearson dove in. But who did they out fake? Does the new tires help Pearson, or the other guys are going to be on the old stuff up front?
Well, Todd Bodine stays out. We'll get at least 1 more lap of caution here before we go back to green. So Bodine stays out. David Green, Joe Nemechek all stay on the race car. 1 to go.
Mike, people might wonder why you see drivers doing that, but they tell the driver from the pits, you do what the leader does. If he comes in, you come in. And now you go down pit road and say, hey, he looked like he was coming in.
Here's a look at the top 5. We're showing 12 cars on the lead lap.
Well, guys, one of the reasons that Pearson and Burton decided to pit, they had right side tires. The other guys did not have any. They can fake them all they want to. If they come in, they had no new right side tires. Right now, the 8 car and the 92 car, I think, are in the best shape. There's plenty of time left. If the rain holds off, I think those new tires are going to make the difference.
Glenn, they are 6th and 7th in line for the restart.
Yeah, but I tell you what, just like Glenn said, I can't help but think those new tires are really going to make a difference. Here we are with about a 40-lap sprint, and those things should pay off for them.
Yeah, it's a long run. Pearson was way up on the outside of David Green on that fake-out deal, and
I didn't even see him put his turn signal on. But he went in a hurry.
We're ready to go back to green. It'll be 40 laps to go. Todd Bodine in front of David Green, Joe Nemechek, and we're back to green.
These guys up front are going to need to get as big a jump on this start as they possibly can, because those guys with new tires are going to be coming.
There's Burton on the bottom going past Bobby Dotter. And Larry Pearson getting under him. One car slow up in turn number 1. That's the Robbie Reiser machine. But he gets squared away. Quickly the field goes single file down into turn 3, except for Pearson, who's making ground on the bottom side.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, they're running up on traffic so fast. I just saw Burton really bumping the back of Nemechek. They've got those new tires on, and you catch people quicker than you think. That other guy's got a lift going down that corner, and you just drive up on him in a hurry.
That's what he did to Nemechek right there.
Boy, Pearson got caught outside. The 31 car went under him. It's going to hold him up a little bit.
And Jeff Burton got the move on that exchange. Todd Bodine at the front has Waltrip separating him from second place David Green. Here's Jeff Burton going to the outside on Mike Wallace.
Yeah,
and Sammy Swindell.
And you think the tires are good? That's 3 deep outside.
Yep.
That's going around one car, being moved over, and going ahead and making the pass 3 wide.
Then getting down to 1 and coming right back in. Nice move. Jeff Burton, winner at Myrtle Beach. Looking to notch 2 out of 3 here today. There's Larry Pearson left side of your screen. And Bobby Dotter. And Tom Peck all on the lead lap.
Working a lot of traffic back here in the back. That's cost them. They're working their way through there, though.
They're not having trouble with the traffic. It's just that as the field strings out and goes single file, it creates such a distance from the front runners to the back. Now David Green has cleared Waltrip. Now NASCAR scoring has caught back up Waltrip's scorer. Remember that each driver provides his own scorer to NASCAR to chart the laps. Missed a lap during the last caution period. Waltrip is on the lead lap. He is the second place car.
You know, Mike, I think everybody here in the booth, we were thinking that, but we could not make that call, and now it showed up. You can see the guys in the pits are excited. You wonder why Waltrip was racing so hard a while ago. He probably knew where he was at.
So he was in second, now third place. And Joe Nemechek, parade grand marshal 2 days ago.
Stop and go. I wonder what brought that on. It's been so long after the caution, you wouldn't think it would have related to that.
From the front of the parade to the penalty box for Nemechek.
We'll see if we can find out what the deal was on the black flag with Nemechek, because it's been quite a deal, quite a few laps after the restart.
For passing on the restart, apparently.
And I'll tell you what they'll do. Passed on the left right before we said earlier, you can't pass on the left before you get to the start finish line. He did that, and they'll put that caution, I mean the black flag on you 3 laps. He probably took all of them before he came in hoping for a caution.
Let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Well, you guys had some gloomy faces on a little while ago, but not right now. You're all smiles. I guess they put you back on the lead lap.
Yeah, they said that we were a lap down, but we came in with the 92 car and pitted at the same time he did, and he was a leader and we were a lap down. And I didn't understand it. We argued with NASCAR, and they said that they weren't going to discuss it, and they came back later on and said, yeah, we were in fact on the lead lap. So we just gave the word to Darrell, and he's ready to take Western Auto Chevrolet and take off.
So the question is, do you have the tires in the car to win this race?
Well, tires have been a problem all day, and we've been scrounging and scrounging everywhere we can get. We've got a set of scuff tires here for the right, and the laps are winding down, so I think we'll be all right, but we're going to keep our fingers crossed.
Everybody's got their fingers crossed right now. Waltrip is in third. And Jeff Burton is right with him.
Yeah, it's probably going to take more than crossed fingers to hold Burton off with those new tires. When he stopped a while ago and put new tires on his car, and he's come all the way up through the field. We see him going by Waltrip right now.
He and Larry Pearson are both up on the leaderboard. There's Todd Bodine, the race leader. And this race is coming to Jeff Burton. Bodine and David Green did not get tires. The first 2 cars, the red cars, the white car of Burton did, and so did that yellow and black machine of Larry Pearson.
Sure, David Green in second place right now. He's right there with Bodine. He's trying to get around him.
Now talk about a fellow who wants a win, Neil. He's led the points most of the season. He's just drifted back in a second spot in the points after that run at Watkins Glen, but he hasn't won. And this race marks the halfway point in the season, and the folks are starting to ask him, well, are you ever going to win a race? You ever going to win a race? Now would be a good time.
Yeah, he has good solid runs week in and week out, but you got to step up there and hit that home run every now and then. Not only do you have good consistent record, you need to win, and that's what he's trying to do.
He's hit a lot of singles and doubles, 6 top 5s, 9 top 10s, most of any driver in the series. But goose eggs in the win column.
Boy, look at the 34 car. Bodine really broke loose coming up off that corner. Keep in mind, these guys have got 20 more laps on their tires than the white car that's gaining on them here. It should cut, you know, it looks like it's going to give them a little bit of trouble later in the race. We see Bodine slipping more than he was earlier.
And you see David Green sniffing that out. He wants that lead. But he's also got to look in his mirror, because here comes the Phil Martasi Ford of Jeff Burton.
The guy that outslid him at Myrtle Beach, and here he comes again.
Outslid him there, might have outsmarted him here by going in for tires.
Boy, I tell you what, the two lead cars are in a world of trouble. They're sliding all over the racetrack, especially Bodine. And here comes the 44 Green. He said, I got to get gone. Here comes that white car.
Todd Bodine's not going to let him have it without a fight.
Yeah, but we've been talking about some three abreast racing. Get ready. If he catches them, this white car catches them right here, he's got the ability to go right on around them.
Fireworks? You want fireworks? Here we go.
As long as we don't get the sparks right here going in these corners.
Well, Green's about as low on the racetrack as you can get, so Burton has to look elsewhere.
Yeah, now let's see Walgo. He can make that pass real wide and cut down. He's going to have to work on them one at a time. It looks like his strong suit is let the 44 make the pass and go with him. But they're kind of hung together. They're running around side by side. He's wanting one of them to go on.
28 laps to go.
Okay, Green makes the pass. Can Burton make the move with him? Does he? Yep.
And Pearson has passed Waltrip, so that's 4th place. You know, Neil, with 13 cars on the lead lap, or 12 cars on the lead lap, you might think, hey, if I get tires, it's too far to come. But 40 laps, and 40 laps is all you're getting on a set of tires, would seem like plenty of time.
It's not that bad a deal when you're questionable on tires anyway. When they're as big a factor as they are today, you just about got to have them.
27 laps complete. There's the top 5. We'll be right back to Milwaukee. The largest stock car race crowd in the 92-year history of the Milwaukee Mile. 34,000 plus, and they're watching it, Andy. Jeff Burton trying to reel in David Green, and it's not as easy as we thought it might have been. And you saw a few raindrops on the camera lens there. 23 laps to go.
Mike, David Green is doing an excellent job. I thought that the 8 car would be able to drive up and go right around him, but once Green got around Todd Bodine, he's able to pull out a little bit. He's got a lot of car left. That surprised me. Even on those older tires, he's holding off the 8 car.
There's 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Todd Bodine, Larry Pearson, and Tom Peck in the SK Tools car has been taking the run at Pearson.
We haven't mentioned Peck much today, but he's really making a good run of it here. He's closing in on Pearson. We see that rain on that back straightaway camera. Maybe it's the roof camera up here, shooting all the way over there.
We used to talk about the beer battle in Cup racing as here comes Pearson underneath Todd Bodine.
Battle of the wrenches, maybe?
Yes, tool time wars.
Okay.
You need Tim Allen from Home Improvement here. You got SK Tools, Mac Tools, Stanley Tools, Hyde Tools, DeWalt Tools.
Boy, we saw the 19 car Peck get up under him and got completely sideways. Bodine had a problem.
Yep.
I think he just got out in that loose stuff and had to stop till he got the tires cleaned off so he could go again.
Todd's car is okay, but he loses 4th spot to Tom Peck. David Green hunting his first season victory on the Busch Tour. Number 2 point man has 1 career win.
That's Burton's wife. They're in 2nd place, and she's hoping him to make that pass around there. But I tell you, David Green's doing a great job of holding it off.
You know, especially when some of these other networks do a race and you see all the letters in Speed Sport News about showing the drivers' wives and stuff like that. Kim Burton looked a whole lot more worried than I bet Jeff is right now.
Oh yeah, he's out there. He's got his mind set on what he wants to do and what he needs to do. And I promise she's got more concern for him than he has about that race car. He's worried about just making that one pass.
But now, to be fair, let's put her in the car and look at the look on his face sitting behind pit road, huh?
I'm not going to say anything. Well, Todd Bodine has fallen back. He was one of the guys didn't stop, and it must be hurting him a good little bit because he's losing a lot of ground here.
Yeah, remember Grissom is now showing on the lead lap. Must have got his lap back on that last caution flag. So then that pass would be for position.
Every time we get into one of these deals where they have multiple cautions, it just confuses things a good little bit and getting it all sorted out.
Now, wait a minute. I'm not saying Kim Burton couldn't drive that stock car. I'm just saying if she was in it, Jeff would be as worried for her as she is for him.
Let me tell you what, if there's going to, when you're driving like that, if there's going to be a wreck, you're going to be in charge of it. Yeah. So you really know what's going on. I always like the idea of being in charge of what's going on.
That's right. Larry Pearson, third place car. There's the lead battle. Jeff Burton just one car length away from David Green, but that's a long car length. We'll be right back. Payne had a great run going here at Milwaukee. He'd been on the lead lap most all day, but his car got either he got hit in turn 2 or got loose in turn 2 and overcorrected, saving it. The car went head on into the wall. And Hyde Tools is sponsor. They make paint scrapers, Neil. Looks like they made a car scraper there.
Boy, I'm glad
climbing out.
I tell you what, Mike, I'm glad to see him get the car's got a lot of damage.
Here's a look at your top 10. Hermie Sadler back up on the lead lap in 5th position there. Tim Fedewa, the rookies are having a good day. We're under caution. Darrell Waltrip, Steve Grissom, and Todd Bodine make pit stops. So does Joe Nemechek. We'll be right back with the finish. We are 13 laps from the finish here at Milwaukee. We're under caution for the Roy Payne accident. He is okay. And as you can see, that car is a mess going off in the hammock between the two wreckers. Back to the garage area. Here's Glenn.
Well, Mike, I'm in David Green's pits. This is David McGehee, the crew chief of the Slim Jim Chevrolet. He's done a heck of a job holding him off so far, David. Can he hold him off for the rest of the way?
Well, the longer we run, the better off we are. A couple of them come in and changed tires a while ago, but I don't know if they're going to catch us. We've been running good all day. Just kind of sit here and hope and see what happens.
It's been a long time since David Green has won a race. Are you keeping him calm on the radio? How's he behaving?
Yeah, he's doing pretty good. I think I'm doing the worst thing about it all. I'm a little shaky right here, you know.
Well, this would be David's first win as a crew chief, and right now, like he says, he's looking pretty good. They do have more right side tires down here in the pits. The car was working so well, they just elected not to change them.
Well, not give up track position, Glenn. April '91 at Lanier Raceway in Georgia was David Green's last Busch Series win. In fact, his only win in the series. His car owner, Bobby Labonte, is here. Raced in the Pepsi 400 yesterday. Got caught up in an incident there. He's here to guide the fortunes of this team that he owns. And David, who helped out the team last year when Bobby came within 3 points of Joe Nemechek for the championship. David Green earning the ride in this seat, and he has led the points up until last week at Watkins Glen when the engine let go. They are still pulling the car. They've got it off the back straightaway now and into the infield area. And just a little bit more speedy dry cleanup, Neil. We can go back to Green, run most of these last 10 laps under Green.
Yeah, it's not going to take very long, and we're going to have some good Green racing left. They said Bobby Labonte is even spotting for David Green, so he's up there on top of things for him.
Have you been a spotter?
No, makes me nervous watching when somebody's involved real close there. You know me, I can't keep up what we're doing on TV, but let's spot for a race car.
Come on.
Look at the rubber around the edge of that racetrack right there. That's one thing. Those guys get outside and they get into that stuff and really make a wrap into that wall. Looks like we're going to, get it down here when we at least have 6 or 8 green flags. We got 10 to go right now, a little more than 10 laps to go. So I believe they'll get this thing cleaned up.
Track crew finishing up in turn number 2. David Green leads Jeff Burton. Larry Pearson is 3rd. Tom Peck is 4th. Let's take you back through the field a little. 5th is rookie Hermie Sadler. Great run today. And Tim Fedewa, who's in 6th position. Running in 7th, Rodney Combs. In 8th, Steve Grissom. 9th is Todd Bodine. Back in the 10th spot, Ricky Craven. 11th is Joe Nemechek, and you saw Darrell Waltrip go by. He is 12th and on the tail end of the lead lap. Let's go down to his pit. Here's Randy.
Well, these guys, they've run the gambit of emotions down here today. Recently, they've been penalized for running over the air hose. They came here with like a makeshift crew. Scott Houston, Tommy Houston's son and crew chief, was now changing the front tires on this car. Darrell, they dropped the car too fast, and Darrell ran over the air hose. But the optimist that he is, Darrell says, if we can get this race back going, I can win it. So that's Darrell Waltrip for you. But these guys have run through the gamut of emotions today down here.
Thanks, Randy. 1 lap to go. We'll go back to green. 1 lap down is Tracy Leslie, 13th. Bobby Dotter, 14th. Jason Keller is 15th. 2 laps back, Chuck Bound and Mike Wallace. Joe Bessie's 3 laps down. 4 laps behind is Ward Burton. And 5 laps off the pace, Robbie Reiser from here in Wisconsin and Sammy Swindell. Takes you back through the top 20.
Boy, the key for these guys back here in the back that say they still got a shot to win it is if they can pull up to the proper position on that inside lane.
Well, with leader David Green running right on the bottom, the rest of these cars on the lead lap will just have to deal with lap traffic up on the high side if they hope to advance and have a shot at the leader.
You know, as that thing was unwinding while Green in the 44 car was able to hold off the 8, but Pearson was making some big gains on him, Mike, right before that caution came out, and now he's on their back bumper along with the 19 car. Tom Peck really running good.
Best run he's had. They'll be lined up 1, 2, 3, 4 just like that as they come down for Green. Tom Peck looking for his first top 5 finish of the season. They're under Green. David Green gets a great start. Jeff Burton slips up in front of Brother Ward to chase him into turn number 1. Ward Burton and Chuck Bound both left that whole bottom lane open for the race leaders. And off they go. It'll be 8 laps when they come by. There's the separation. 1, 2, and 3. Peck could not clear Ward Burton, so he is back in 4th spot with a lap car separating him from the leaders.
Mike, we heard the crew chief for David Green say their car got better as it went along. If that's the case, the 8 car needs to jump on him right now. Burton's going to have to get him before they get these tires getting hot again.
The tires have cooled during this lengthy caution for Roy Payne. They went about 6 laps under caution. I think you're right, Neil. His first and best chance
is now.
Yep.
And talking about chances, Pearson seems to have the car that sticks on the bottom better than any of them right now. He turned it down there. He just couldn't make the drive up off that corner.
Well, we're seeing the reason why 34,000 fans packed into this place today as Burton is right up and under the rear spoiler of David Green, getting into turn 3 and then shakes it off of 4.
Yeah, let me tell you, when you make a tap on a guy like that, it slows your momentum down. And when you do that, the guy behind you can make a run on you.
And now Tom Peck is there and closing the 4th place car. 7 to go.
Boy, look at Green's car twitch the tail out. Let me tell you, this is when a driver earns his money, when he's on older tires and he's having to go just as hard as he can go and hold the rest of these folks off. Real close right there behind him up off corner. They've all been having a little bit of trouble off his corner, breaking the rear. Look at Pearson right to the inside.
Larry Pearson wants the bottom. Took a jump down there in turn number 4, and he'll get 2nd spot. Jeff Burton cuts the car hard to close the door on Tom Peck. 6 laps to go.
Now, Burton couldn't do anything with Green. Has Pearson got enough for him? Pearson's car has come up through the pack good.
And here comes Hermie Sadler to make it a 5-car battle at the front. And Steve Grissom will make it 6.
Yeah, Grissom was the guy that was way down. He's fought his way back. He's leading the points. Look here, the 19 car Peck right up against Burton off the corner. They got together.
And Grissom coming as well. Peck will run for 3rd.
Boy, the 44 car running all over the front straightaway, trying to take that track position away from Pearson. Pearson makes that wide arc, gives him a good run up off that corner. Green is having to go to defense. Pearson's on offense.
5 to go. Grissom slices to the inside of Peck as they go after Jeff Burton. That's for 3rd place and creates quite a separation of the leaders. Pearson goes. David Green, something happened to David Green.
It looked like they might have got together just the least little bit. Green had to get out of the throttle. Pearson drove right on by, along with the Grissom car, cleared him too.
Grissom to 2nd, and now Green trying to hold off Jeff Burton again, but this time it's for 3rd spot. 4 laps to go. I don't think it's over because Grissom is coming fast. He's got to make up 5 car lengths on Larry Pearson.
Well, he just made up 3 going in that one corner.
Third place, side by side, Green still with Burton and Peck.
The complexion of this thing changes so much. One guy looks like he's got it, and then it switches over. Now we got Grissom really bearing down on the leader.
3 laps to go. Grissom 2 car lengths behind Pearson.
How many times all year long we saw Grissom spot him and then come back?
And look at this, all the way back to the yellow car of Tim Fedowa. They're fighting for 3rd place.
Here's where we see Grissom that coming off that 4th turn. Look at Grissom down on the inside. Pearson outside. He's up under him.
2 laps to go.
The tie goes to the guy on the inside, usually going in this corner down here.
And Grissom gets the lead.
Let's see if Pearson can crank it back down under him off of the corner.
Grissom right down against the grass. You can't get any lower than that.
You can't, or he would have been. He was getting all he could on the bottom.
Jeff Burton is backing up. David Green passed him, and so did Herbie Sadler. Sadler up to 4th. Last time around, next time. Here's Peck to the inside of Burton. White flag waving. Tom Peck moves to 5th.
They're doing a lot of shoving back there. These guys in this group right here beating all over each other.
And Burton sticks it in there, trying to hold 5th spot. Sadler is up to 3rd. He's past David Green. What a run for the rookie. There's Herbie Sadler leading that pack as Burton and Peck beat on each other again with Fedowa right there.
The question is, can the next group make it through this next corner? It looks like Grissom's got him coming off the corner. The battle is going to be for 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Grissom wins it. Pearson is 2nd for 3rd. Herbie Sadler, David Green is 4th. Tom Peck is 5th ahead of Jeff Burton and Tim Fedowa. What a finish.
The complexion changed so many times in the last 10 laps. Who was going to win this race?
For Steve Grissom, it is his 2nd win of the season. He won in April at Hickory. He will retain the point lead. And that, I believe, is his 8th career win.
Mike, you know, we saw early in the race Grissom just not giving an inch when he was trying to get those laps back. And some people question, why is a guy laps down fighting with the leaders like that? This is why. It pays off at the end of the race.
Great run for Steve Grissom. That car just kept coming and coming. When he, Larry Pearson, and Jeff Burton all took on tires, it was Grissom that conserved his car best.
Nowhere better right here, Mike, the Kowicki lap.
Oh, yes.
Nowhere better than right here.
Steve Grissom takes an Alan Kowicki victory lap. That's great. He saw those T-shirts too, Neil.
Yeah.
And you know, I like that. Not just because we're at Wisconsin or because Alan did it, but for the first time today, all those folks in the grandstand, the window net's down, they get a good look at the guy who's been working so hard to earn their cheers and earn their accolades and earn this victory.
Not only that, it also shows that the recognition and the remembering Alan Kowicki goes for years and years.
Well, if the backwards victory lap, as Alan called it, the Polish victory lap, I prefer to just call it the Kowicki lap, as you did. If that becomes Alan's legacy, that's a fitting one. And it's a great thing to do. Grissom the winner, Pearson 2nd. Herbie Sadler, the rookie driver, comes home 3rd. Great run. David Green is 4th. And Tom Peck notches his first top 5 finish of the season. Here's Randy.
Well, Larry Pearson, half smile, half disgust. Larry, you had a great car. You just didn't get it done right there at the end.
Yeah, I think Steve's tires were just a little bit better than ours, but I tell you right now, it's turned around for us, and we ran awful strong. We led a lot of the race today, and I just can't thank Stanley enough. I mean, they've been behind us 100% and all the crew, and I'd like to say hello to my wife, Kathy, and my kids, David, Katie, and Robbie. But I'll be home tomorrow. We ran great. We just run out of tires there at the end.
Larry, as good as you have been running of late, might we see you on the full schedule here maybe next year?
Well, I tell you, I'd like nothing better. You know, that's up to Stanley. Right now we're talking with him, and things look pretty good. You know, hopefully we'll be back and I can try for that 3rd championship.
Glenn Jarrett, who do you have? Victor?
Well, I got a very, very happy Steve Grissom. Man, come out of nowhere. What a great job.
Well, I tell you what, I just can't say enough. This car works super all day long. Our only problem was we needed to go without cautions, but it seemed like we just kept getting cautions there, and you know, we were a little better on the long run, and then there that next to last caution, we had a set of left sides left, and we decided to come in and take him on, and that really hurt us. Every time we put left sides on today, it made us pretty tight, and then that caution right there at the end. I told these guys, I said, hey, we're too tight. We ain't got nothing to lose. Let's just go ahead and put some right sides on, and we come here to win. Or they said we come here to win the race, so they was all ready for it. And man, I tell you, I just can't say enough about this crew. Boy, this car drove great.
Steve, we're going to show the past. Take us through that. Did you think you were going to have enough time to get Pearson there at the end?
No, I don't believe I'd ever got Larry, but he made one mistake there. He kind of got off the racetrack just a little bit getting into 3, and I saw that, and I said, oh, man, up the racetrack he went, and that was my shot, and I just took it, nailed it, and it worked out for us.
It was a great thing you did taking that Kulwicki victory lap, too.
Yeah, I tell you, here in, you know, being in Milwaukee, it's the only fitting place to do it. You know, I'm not really much on that stuff, but, you know, Alan was a great guy. We raced with him a good bit, and, you know, it's for him.
Well, one more question real quick. You got grass all over the front of this car. Is that how low you were running that thing?
Yeah, it seemed like we run a little better the lower we could get. That was the problem, was trying to get it as low. And when we put these last right sides on, man, I tell you, it hooked up right there on the bottom. I just like to take a second and thank Bill DeArmond, Bob Cannon, all the employees at Channel Lock. Man, we had a great time up there last week, and hoping we keep us going.
Well, this guy's got the points lead. He's winning races now. He's going to be tough for the rest of the year, Mike.
That's for sure, Glenn. What a finish, what a finish. David Green, as Craftsman Tools presents the Busch Series point standings. No time for second best. Craftsman, official tools of NASCAR. There are your top 5 in the Busch Series points as of right now. I don't know, Neil, with 10 laps to go, with 10 seconds to go, I couldn't pick a winner.
No, every time I thought I had it figured out, it went the other way.
For Neil Boddick, Glenn Jarrett, and Randy Pemberton, Mike Joy congratulating Steve Grissom on a great win as Busch Racing returns to Wisconsin. So long, everyone.